Hello my friends, today I have another very special commentated speedrun video for you. This time, finally the Torna speedruns I said I would do a very long time ago, and I have finally gotten around to it. So, the category I'm doing for this is any percent glitchless. There are two main Torna categories that people normally run. One is any percent with glitches, and then of course any percent glitchless. So, the reason I chose this category over the category with glitches, despite glitches being faster, is because there is the glitch that is primarily used in that category that is something that hurts my hands a lot. So I didn't really want to do that. So I ended up playing the slower category here, but I also think it's more interesting in general because a lot of the fights, you're not nearly as broken from being able to access things earlier than you're ever supposed to. Plus, there's just a lot of cool things in general to keep in mind as you're going through this game. I think it's a very entertaining speed game because of that. And it combines a lot of the best aspects of Xenoblade 2 in a shorter speed run here, so you can show it off pretty well. And it has a different combat system from base Xenoblade 2 as well. Just slightly, but it is different. This tutorial fight here kind of showcases the basic mechanics and changes of the combat system. Basically, you can now swap between the blade and the driver here, so you see Laura and Jin. I guess if you don't know anything about this combat system, you can swap between them by pressing down on the D-pad, and they both have their own unique abilities and effects that you can use in combat. So right now we only have one art in each character, as you can see on the bottom right of the screen. Jin has Chill Stroke and Laura has Path of Thorns. We can also use specials by using these arts. You see the Roman numeral on the bottom right of the screen right now. As that ticks up, we can access different specials with our characters depending on the level. And these specials do a lot of extra damage compared to the normal arts. They will usually do a lot more damage in general. And they're going to be the main way we end up killing enemies throughout the majority of this run. Now, we haven't unlocked all of the combat features yet, but we will get there soon. In order to end this tutorial fight, you have to kill this cursed Bulafu with your level 4 special here. That's what I end up doing here. It automatically gives you a level 4 special once you get to that point in the fight where the Bulafu gets lower on HP at the end. And then we can finally get into the rest of the game. So a lot of this game is going to be about preparing for things that come later on, because Torna is an interesting game in how you have to beat it. Normally you just go through all of the story objectives as fast as possible without doing a bunch of side content, but in this game you're actually required to do a lot of side content to progress the main story. So because of that, there's interesting routing you might not see in other speedruns, where you have to like pick up a bunch of collectibles, prepare to do a bunch of quests, and just do a lot of stuff along the way that you normally wouldn't do in a speedrun if you're just trying to beat the game as fast as possible. If you do not do these things, you will be locked out of completing the main story later until you do these things, so it might as well just get them done along the way. So while we're fighting this little Volf here, it doesn't seem very important, but we are going to fight it because we need to hit level 3. That gives us just enough experience at level 3 before the next fight. Doing the next fight at level 2 would be very, very risky and dangerous, because level 3 unlocks a new art for both of our characters, so we have additional ways to damage the enemies, and just overall make combat even smoother than it already is. As far as general combat mechanics, I'll get into that during the next fight if I can. But we're about to approach another little tutorial area here where we start learning about collectibles we can pick up off the ground. Now, this is going to be one of the main things that we're going to be doing in the first hour of this speedrun. There's a lot of things we need to get, and we're going to try to get them as soon as possible. This is definitely a source of RNG, but if you're not going for like world records or anything, it's not too bad because you can usually just skip travel back to the location you were just at and go collect the collection point again, and you're not going to lose a super significant amount of time. But if you are going for world records, then that is something to keep in mind, because bad collection RNG can definitely cost you a lot of time if you're in the realm of trying to get a record. Speaking of which, this ending time of the speedrun video ended up being 2 hours, 40 minutes, and 8 seconds. It's about a minute and a half short of world record. I had a good chance of getting record until one of these splits at the end of the game where I kind of choked really hard on a very unforgiving platforming section, but we can talk about that when we get there. But I'm still really happy with the execution of this run overall, so I still thought it would be a really good run to upload and submit for general marathon submissions and just having good commentary over it so people could learn the speedrun. So what we just had to do there was cook with Jin. That's another element of Torna. We have crafting with our characters when we're resting at a camp. A lot of the drops in that first section are scripted, so we always get the materials we need on the sections immediately surrounding the camp. So that's very nice. Out of these first collection points that I'm getting that are not scripted, what I'm looking for are sour avocados and Lily of the Sunny Valley. sour avocados from the veggie spots and lilies from the flower spots. These are going to be some of the more necessary collectibles for later on. There's a lot of collectibles we need, but some we're going to need earlier than others, and some we need to get as fast as we can, and some have obviously higher or lower drop rates. So I'm collecting as much of these as I can. Those Weeping Flower are going to be useful later on as well. And I got another Lily of the Sunny Valley there, which is what I wanted. So I'll try to help you keep track of the collectibles as I'm going. There's a ton of things we need. We need 3 Lilies of the Sunny Valley before we leave Aletta total. We need to get 3 Grimdark Crab from fish spots as well, because those are going to be important for later. And then we need an assortment of fish, just general, for a quest that we're going to be turning in later on as well. And we also pick up that treasure chest on the ground there, because it includes a Fang chip that we want to give to Jin to increase his stats a little bit further. Right here we have wood collection spot. We need cotton branches and corkscrew creepers. Those are pretty much the only things that are going to drop from that. There is a 5% chance of something else, but that'll rarely ever happen. We need 7 total cotton branches and 4 corkscrew creepers. From the inset spots, we need 3 Sandupa, and that's all we need in all of the Torna continent. So we don't have to get any more Sandupas or any bug collection spots after we get those 3 Sandupa. Now, it is worth noting you might want to get more Sandupa if you are doing a slight backup strat, but you definitely don't want to have more than 4, because you're going to need to get 2 of something else no matter what anyway. So I'm going to collect all these fish collection spots, because I still need a bunch of fish for later. And the next spot, the mineral spot, we need to get 3 rare stones from, so that's going to be the spot up here. Now the thing is, Jin has the mineralogy skill, so we get extra drops from this if that activates. It has a 60% chance of activating since it's at level 1. So a lot of the party members have skills like that, well, that will increase our drop rates for these collection spots, which we're going to be taking advantage of a little bit later for sure. Right here is where we're going to do our first big menu. You'll notice earlier I did turn the enemy aggression off. That's just a feature you can do in Torna, and it's going to be faster in speedruns, obviously. I also level up agility on Laura's skill tree, so she has better evasion rate, her and Jin, since they are connected. And then I give her a rigid vest because we need the help for the next fight we are going to do. The extra health is going to be very useful. I also level up one of Jin's arts, and then I give him the Fang chip, and that increases the attack power of both him and Laura a little bit. Get the wood spot because we need to get the cotton branches and corkscrew creepers still. And now we're going to be entering our first little boss here. So, this game has a mechanic called auto attack canceling or stutter stepping if you are Chugga Conroy, where if you basically attack the enemy and you slightly tilt your control stick after attack goes off, you can reset your auto attack combo, which is actually faster for charging up arts than just standing there and waiting for your triple auto attack combo to go off. In this fight, when your other party member has their cooldown reduced, you can also cancel your arts into swapping to them and then use another art after that. And that allows the combat to go pretty dang fast in general, because you can charge up your special level much faster. Speaking of special level, I use a level 3 with Jin there because it does extra damage to higher leveled enemies. Plus I had gotten max affinity, and Jin has a bonus to all of his damage at max affinity on his affinity chart. This is probably really hard to follow so far if you are not familiar with the game, but I promise it all makes a lot of sense. What you are noticing is that one art I have on Laura, Hungry Snake, has a break effect. And after we use that break effect, we can swap to Jin and he will topple the enemies, assuming his attack hits. Jin's swap art is a topple effect, so that is where that comes from. And just in general, the strategy for this fight is just using 2 Jin level 3s and then some other moves as fast as you possibly can here. But make sure you have max affinity as well for as much damage as possible. The general goal of the combat system is use auto attacks to charge up arts, use arts to build your special meter, use specials to do blade combos, which we'll get into a little bit later when we unlock those. And then after using blade combos, you can unleash powerful chain attacks, which we're not going to be using much in the run, since blade combos will usually be enough in this case, since we are trying to go through the game as fast as possible, and chain attacks are pretty slow. But that is the general idea of the combat here. So in this fight, we are fighting Adam and Mithra. Now, if you are familiar with Smash Brothers or Xenoblade 2 in general, you might be wondering why the heck we're fighting Mithra, since she's supposed to be one of the main characters. Well, in this point of the Torna story, we just have to fight her because Adam here, he was the original driver of Mithra 500 years in the past before Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And they have come across Laura and Jin here. Now, Laura and Jin are basically mercenaries who kind of aren't like involved in any official government capacities or anything right now. Not to mention that Jin used to be a blade of the Empire of Torna that was called the Paragon of Torna, and Laura just happened to come across his core crystal after it got stolen by her adopted father, I believe. And she ended up touching the core crystal and resonating with it before her father could. Now, if you're wondering what a core crystal is, well, that's essentially what the blade system in Xenoblade 2 is based off of. Basically, there are these things called core crystals, and by touching core crystals, you can summon blades. And it's kind of like, imagine like a gacha system in like a mobile game or something like that. It's kind of similar to that and how it functions in the base game. In this game, there is no gacha at all in Torna. You just come with all the blades you're going to use, and all the party members are pretty much static in that sense. It ends up working a little bit better in that sense because you always know what you're going to get at the very least, and there's no blade system RNG involved like there is in the other Xenoblade 2 speedruns, so that's something really nice. We have also just gotten access to talent arts here. We're not going to be using too many talent arts in the run, only Laura's and Adam's are really useful for our purposes here. Although one of our party members later will have something that is useful. Laura's talent art will cut half of her remaining HP to charge all of her arts instantly, which is actually a pretty useful effect that we're going to be taking advantage of in fights where we're not worried about dying. Like this one right here, for instance. And we're just going to be using our arts here to build up our specials. The later in an auto-attack combo you use an art, the higher you will build your special meter, and the more damage ratio you will actually get added to your arts, so there is a benefit for doing that as well. Special damage ratios do not get increased by canceling into them, so you can use those however you want to. But you can cancel into those as well just to increase efficiency. Now, I haven't commented on it yet, but you will notice my face cam in the corner. I have my audio muted for this since this run was done offline, but I did want to have my face here just because seeing some of my reactions can be funny. You can see some of my frustrations in certain moments later on, but you know, that's just how it is for speedrunning sometimes. Overall, I was pretty happy with this run, for sure.
I'm just happy
and what we just did there was clear some ether miasma. That's not going to come up again, so it's not really that important, but that was just introducing a different mechanic and showing us how to use field skills, which you've already come across. Basically, there are actions in the fields our blades can do depending on who we have, and we're going to be taking advantage of those a little bit later as well. And that is also why we were able to get extra collectibles from the collection spot when we had Jin with us. So, we have just received a quest now, and this brings us to the community feature. So, the community feature is basically a system in Torna where we can bond with all the NPCs in the entire game. And in order to beat this game, you have to get the community up to level 4, which requires doing a lot of quests. By helping people out, you get them added to the community, essentially. Community level 4 requires 48 people in it. That is a lot of side content we are going to have to do. It's not that bad, though, because I actually think the quests in this game are some of the best quests in any RPG ever. There's a lot of really wonderful NPCs in this game, and a lot of the quests just lead towards a larger story overall, and it actually really enhances the experience of the game. It might be a little frustrating in a speedrun to have to do all the side content and have to rely on some RNG to get some stuff you might need for some of these quests, but at the same time, I still think it is a wonderful feature to have to this game overall. So we just picked up a second quest there. You'll also notice I turned off the skip community registration thing, or turned on that, so we don't have to have that animation every time we add a new community member. That's pretty standard, as you might imagine, to save as much time as possible. Getting some more collection spots for the wood we're going to need for later. Like I said, 7 cotton branches, 4 corkscrew creeper, we're going to need those. I think I have everything at this point. I wasn't keeping track in my commentary, but I'm going to have everything eventually, because I completed the run, obviously. So these splits I'm comparing against you'll notice are faster than the time I actually got in this video, and that is because this is actually comparing against my sum of bests and not actually my PB. And the reason I did that is because I always do better when I'm running against better times, I think, because I am able to keep myself focused better, so that's why I'm doing that. I have not done many runs of this game yet. I actually only learned it about a week ago, but it's something I wanted to learn because I've been promising my audience I was going to be doing it for a while, and it's definitely a really fun speed game, and I'm happy I was able to get this time relatively early. I actually think I can hopefully get world record pretty soon. So, for the first quest here, what you are going to see is that we have to do this fight against these enemies that were blocking the bridge. And that's going to help our friend Kame, the first person we met that introduced the community feature for us. And if we talk to him again, we will be able to complete the quest and add him to our community. Now, I'm getting this mineral spot again because I didn't get enough rare stone from the first mineral spot, so I get the remaining ones there, and I will no longer have to get mineral spots the remaining time on the Torna continent. I will need some minerals later, but it'll be from a different area where we get entirely different collectibles. I'm collecting these fish once again because I need the Grimdark Crab. There is a much higher drop rate for Grimdark Crabs in the cave here that we're going into, which is going to be part of a different quest. And that's where we're going to be getting the remaining Grimdark Crab that we need.
Aren't we intrepid?
Now, unfortunately, I actually did not get any there, which is really rare for that collection spot, because that has like a 30% drop rate? I don't know. I don't know exactly how much it is, but it's a pretty high drop rate nonetheless. Usually you would get at least one there, and I'm a little worried now probably because I only have 2 when I need 3, and that's like the best spot to get them from. But it will respawn after this. The thing is, if it doesn't happen after this, I'll lose a bunch of time, obviously, having to skip travel to try to get them, because that's the last spot that we're going to be able to get for now before we'll actually need the crabs. Anyway, back to this fight right here. We need to actually do a few things here. So it's going to keep spawning in enemies for a little bit here. And if we keep swapping between Laura and Jin, we'll increase our total damage, because they get a damage increase every time you swap between them in fights. That's another way we can stack up damage with Laura and Jin here as we are using them. They are going to be the strongest characters in the run. We're going to be using them for the majority of the fights, although Adam does have a few uses as well. Now, upon killing these Flammy, they have a chance of dropping Flammy Wings. We need 2 of those as well, so we're trying to get those while we are here, in addition to completing this quest. This Caliber Scorepox is the last enemy. What I want to do is break and then topple it. Adam, our party member, has an ability to launch, and Mithra has the ability to smash. That's going to complete that full little combo there, and it does a lot of burst damage to the enemy, as you might have noticed, and we can kill him pretty quickly.
You're coming with me.
So to complete this quest, we just need to look at the treasure that we obtained from doing this little fight here. And then I get my Grimdark Crab from the collection spot, and that is all we need, so I can skip travel back to Feltley Village here to talk to Kame and do the final things we need to do while we are here. I also pick up this other flower collection spot to get some more lilies and maybe weeping flower I might need for later, although I'm not too worried about the weeping flower because that's pretty common. We don't need it immediately. I do not actually get the lilies but thankfully I already have at least 3 right now, but I am going to need at least 2 more for later, or potentially 3, depending on everything else. So talking to Kame adds them to the community. Unfortunately, you can't skip this part of the community feature. If you add them, it'll show the animation no matter what. The skipping thing only works when you initially talk to someone. So you're going to be seeing that screen a lot as we add people to the community.
A happy conclusion.
So at the camp, we're going to be taking advantage of the crafting feature. Adam can craft something now. This is also where we needed those early lilies. The lightning speed flag here. This will increase our running speed by 5% for the rest of the speedrun. Doesn't seem like much, but it is something that is going to be helpful and going to be important for this run. I also talked to the Nameless Wanderpun right here. He's going to give us a free Ox Core, which is basically a custom thing we can put on our blades to give them an increased effect. That was Massive Melee Mithra. Essentially, imagine Mithra's Smash outfit. That's what that is. It was added to this game a long time ago, perhaps foreshadowing that Mithra would be in Smash, or just because it was part of the spirit that was there initially. Who knows? But at the same time, it is cool that this outfit exists in this game. Maybe one day they'll add the Pyro outfit as well, who knows. So, we talked to Isabella, we're able to add her to our community, and that's going to give us 2 out of 48 by 19 minutes. Not a bad rate, right? Don't worry, the community will speed up quite a bit later. So with all that done, we're going to be heading out to Gormat, which is our next continent here, and we're going to need a lot of things from here. This is where speedruns go to die if you're on world record pace. There is a ton of RNG involved on this continent, and it'll be very rare that you end up getting everything you need very smoothly. You'll probably have to skip travel a few times, and I had to this run also, because that's just what's going to happen when you're in this place. There is a ton of things you need, and there is a lot of stuff to do that can involve RNG. So first things first, insect points. We need 1 gregarious scorpion and 15 sticky stick insects. Sticky stick insects are actually really common in Gormat. Pretty much every bug collection spot has a very high rate of them, but we are going to need 15 for later on. And that seems like a high amount, but it's actually not too bad for that collectible, if nothing else. But there's a lot of other things we need in Torna. You see I'm fighting a random Crabble here. That's because we need a drop from this Crabble called the Crabble Carapace. We're going to need that for crafting a little bit later as well. And we just need one of them. Now, enemies have a 50% chance of dropping at least one drop. They have a 25% chance of dropping 2 and a 25% chance of dropping nothing at all. So that's, keep that in mind when we're trying to go for these monster parts. I ended up getting the one Crabble Carapace I needed, so that's all we really needed to do there. There are going to be other monster parts we need in the run, so that's going to come up pretty soon, actually. I got some more bug collection spots there. The mineral spots now. We need 3 Dicey Stone, 2 Forest Stone, and then a Floral Soil. The Floral Soil is a very rare collectible that we're going to have a decent chance of getting at a later collection spot that has a higher drop rate, but even then I think it's only like 15%. So it is one of the more rare collectibles. Fortunately, we only need one of them. If we needed more, it would be a big pain to try to get them, but fortunately, we only need one of them. You can usually get the Forest Stone and Dicey Stone very early on. You'll probably get them by the first collection spot because they both have pretty high rates, and if you don't, there's still an easy chance to get them a little bit later on. For the flower collection spots, we need 4 Ruska Flower, 3 Panda Pansies, 3 Sunflower Rogues, and then 1 Dawn Hydrangea. The Dawn Hydrangea doesn't drop from the general flower spots, and the Sunflower Rogues are a rare material that doesn't drop that often, but hopefully you're able to get at least 3 by the time you are finished with Gourmand. Interestingly enough, I think in this run I struggled getting the Panda Pansies more than the Sunflower Rogue. I actually had like 0 for a really long time before I was finally able to get them from some of the later collection spots I passed by. I thought I was going to have to skip travel for those, maybe, but I'm doing really good on the Sunflower Rogues. I got 2 right there, and I got 2 Ruska Flower. From the fruit spots, or veggie spots, we need 4 Hustle Hyacinths and 2 Meaty Carrots. Those are actually pretty easy to get overall, but you do need them relatively soon for crafting something. And there are not a ton of points before that spot, but you should probably get them anyway, because they're not the hardest collectible to get, but you know, sometimes there's just always that chance you may not get them very efficiently. So we have now arrived in the town of Torgoth. Some bad stuff happened here, to say the least. But we're going to just take this treasure chest anyway to get that those scale chips. Those are core chips we can use to upgrade our blade's power. And then I'm collecting all the fruit spots on the way to try to get what I need from those. I think I probably have everything I need by that point. It looks like I got the Hustle Hyacinth and the Meaty Carrot. But if I didn't, there is another fruit spot later on for sure. So I now have 4 scale chips, but I only have 3 blades with me currently. But so we're only going to be able to use 3 of them, but that's not a huge deal. From this flower spot, we can get the Dawn Hydrangea. I do get the Dawn Hydrangea I was looking for. That flower spot also has a higher chance of Sunflower Rogue, so if you're missing some, you can hopefully get them there. And after this spot, we're going to be doing another menu here. We're going to be leveling up Haze's healing art. Haze is another blade we had, by the way, and my favorite in this game. I really like Haze a lot. She's really cute, really epic. And we're going to be upgrading basically all 3 of our blades' auto attack. I guess I never explained why Mithra actually joined our party earlier, but they basically decided, hey, we like you guys a lot. You should help us stop this evil guy called Malos, and they ended up joining the party. We're not going to be using Haze that much, unfortunately, because she's attached to Laura and Jin just kind of outclasses her as a blade to use in a speedrun just because he's just really, really strong, and Haze was more of a supporting blade. Mithra, on the other hand, is attached to Adam, so we can use them both at the same time. I give Mithra her massive melee Mithra Aux Core, and I give Jin an Affinity Max Attack 1, which is going to increase his damage when he's at max affinity by an additional 30%. That is when he has the gold thread in combat. So after picking up that collection spot there next to the tree, we looked at Haze's affinity chart. That gives her a chance. That gives her forestry, so we have a chance of activating that every time we get a wood collection spot, which is very important in Gourmand because we need a lot of wood. From that spot particularly, we need 2 Confusion Ivy and 4 Deerwood. We'll be able to get those a little bit later on as well, though, so not a huge issue. And now we are fighting another familiar blade from the base game, Bridget. So basically, there's a misunderstanding here where Bridget thinks we are the ones who burned down this town we are currently in when we are not actually the ones, so we have to fight about it right now. The strategy for this fight is simply get a topple off with Jin and Laura, and then hopefully Adam will launch and swap to Mithra to smash. By doing this, he'll eventually swap back to Adam, and when doing that, we will be able to use a blade combo, which is now unlocked. You'll notice we have the ability at the bottom of the screen and on the left of the screen right now to use something called heat or photon. That's what blade combos essentially are. So Adam comes in here, and I wanted to get Volt and Flame Bolt off on this break right here, but Adam and Mithra separated too far, so I couldn't actually use the special as fast as I would have liked there, so it ends up not working out how I want. I go for another break here, but I don't end up getting it, which sucks. You can see I'm kind of a little frustrated with that. The reason I wanted the break is because if you have a driver combo active while you're doing a blade combo, you will get extra damage and also extra experience if you end the battle with it. So that's something to keep in mind in a lot of these fights, that it's going to be very helpful. You also get extra like skill points and art points as well, so it's just all around beneficial to try to end fights with fusion combos. Fusion combos are, of course, driver combos plus blade combos together, and one of the main features of the combat system, and something that's very important to take advantage of. Being able to driver combo and blade combos enemies will increase your damage, will increase the speed of fights drastically, and just have a ton of very beneficial effects. So that's something we definitely want to be doing throughout this run. So for this next section, Laura and Hayes temporarily leave our party, but we asked them to join us again as we head to another fight because it's just faster to do the fight. They didn't want to go with us, but we are rude and mean because we are speedrunning, so we asked them to come with us anyway. Jin fighting alone is significantly slower because he can't actually have affinity, so he loses most of his damage. And we can't swap between anyone, so that loses damage, and it's just all around not very beneficial for this fight. I'm probably upset right now because I'm not getting Panda Pansies, which are supposed to be a pretty common drop. And I just collected that flower point trying to get them again. From the bug spot, I need Sticky Sticks insects. And then we're going to be getting a wood spot. So I need a lot of wood from Torna. I need 11 puzzle tree wood, including 3 very, very soon after only the first 2 collection spots. I need 10 muscle branch. I need 4 deer wood, as already mentioned, 2 confusion ivy, and then 7 memento bark. That is a lot of stuff we need from wood spots. But fortunately, we have Hayes, who gives us a very good chance of getting extra wood from these spots. And we don't actually need the remaining puzzle tree or muscle branch until much later in the game, so we can actually take our time with that. But we do need the 3 puzzle tree relatively early on. The deerwood and confusion ivy is also much later, and the memento bark is also kind of later, and it's actually pretty common. You probably don't have to worry about that as much. And puzzle tree and muscle branch can both be obtained from the exact same collection spot at the very least as well. So we're going to be trying to collect as many of those spots as possible because it's just going to be the most beneficial thing to do. So this Despair Ropal is the fight that we picked up Laura and Hayes to do because it's faster to have them with us. Because Laura can also break, and swapping to Jin will topple, and you can't actually swap to Jin if you are only Jin, so you're not able to topple otherwise. But you really want to topple because it'll speed up the fight drastically. Now, normally here, Adam will extend the topple and you will have a very fast fight, but I get a little trolled by Adam and he doesn't actually do that this time around. So this fight's actually a little bit slower than it would have been otherwise. If he was able to extend the topple and then do a launch and smash, this fight would already be over, basically. So we're going to lose a little bit of time to that. I don't know why I'm upset this time. I was probably just mad I didn't get the fusion combo or something. I don't know. Anyway, not important. I promise I'm mostly happy during this run. I promise, I promise. I was probably just frustrated at me. I don't know. Next fight. We are going to be doing very, very quickly here. So Laura and Hayes are going to leave our party again because they don't want to go to this conference we're going to, and this leads to the next part of the story where we basically have to do a fight with only Laura and Hayes. And so this is where Hayes is going to have her time to shine here, hopefully. And this fight's actually pretty easy overall, despite only having them in the party, because the enemies don't do a lot of damage at all, and they're pretty easy to take out, actually. The only annoying part is they can be invasive, but a lot of enemies in this game can be very evasive. So the rest of the party here goes to the next objective, and we'll be fighting with Laura and Hayes in the graveyard afterwards. So Gort, the reason this split's called Gort Bad is because Gort is a piece of crap, essentially. He's no one likes him because of how despicable of a person he is, and just lame he is in general, I would say. So Hayes also can increase damage at max affinity, but it's actually a party-wide increase, but not nearly as much as Jin in general. She also has an ability to lower party damage at max affinity, And her final ability is lowering raising party debuff resistance at max affinity. And as you can see, I'm frustrated because I didn't get the break Laura missed there, which normally does not happen in this fight. The break, I think, is pretty close to guaranteed if Laura gets the break actually off there and it doesn't miss. What you're normally supposed to do is swap to Haze, use Wind to set up a fusion combo, and then swap back to Laura afterwards, and then finish it with a level 2 Wind when you swap back to Haze later with, which is Cyclone. Normally this works like very consistently every time, but because I didn't get the extra damage from earlier, I don't actually think I'm able to get the fusion combo finish here with Cyclone. And I'm losing a bunch of time this split as well because of that. Because of a bad fight last time. Oh, I did get the Cyclone break kill. That's good then. That was one of the reasons I used level 3. I used level 1 here to finish the other dude. Haze level 1 does a lot of damage to the add-on enemies there, and it's really fast. It's one of the fastest specials, like, in the game. If we're in base game, it'd probably be the fastest special, but Torna specials work a little bit differently since you don't have to pass the weapons and stuff like that. So I lose a bunch of time that split, probably because of the bad shark fight and because I had to use Haze's level 3 special there, which is a lot slower than her level 2 special. But not a huge deal overall. Gormot stuff happens. I got this wood spot again that has Deerwood and Confusion Ivy. I think I'm good on that now. I don't actually remember being good on it a little bit later in the game, so I'll pick up an extra point a lot later, but it is what it is. Picking up this flower point, still don't get Panda Pansies because the game is just trolling me really hard.
This is becoming addictive.
So I have 0 out of 3 of a drop that's like at least 30%, or something like that. It's really high. I don't know what's going on with that.
This is becoming addictive.
I have to pick up an assortment of fish for later. And what the actual collectibles of the fish are don't matter. It's just for a quest for later where I'll just need a generic amount of fish. So we're gonna pick those up, and that's about all we need from that. Bug collection spot, sticky sticks, and we also get the Cooley Lake skip travel point to come back to a little bit later in the game. We don't actually need it right now, but it'll be useful later on. So now that we've handled a lot of the story objectives in Gormot, we're going to be handling a lot of quest stuff and getting the other remaining things we need from here before moving on with the story. Because there is a lot of stuff we need to do now. There is this main story quest here, but we're going to pick up some other quests as well, like this one from Lyda here. This is going to be a nice quest to do, which is going to unlock some things for us later as well. And one of the reasons we needed a lot of collectibles early on as well, because we're going to have to do some stuff to help her out a little bit later, involving collectibles. In this menu, I am leveling up arts, because there are arts we need to level up.
This one's second nature to me now.
It's not like super important to level up arts, but it does increase the damage ratio and lower cooldown times, and it's something that is beneficial to do throughout the run. I get a little confused in this menu because I'm like trying to remember what to do with like some of the blades and stuff, so this is actually a not great menu. I definitely could save some time here on this menu in future runs. We want to level up Round Cutter on Hugo because it increases his aggro generation, and we're going to do the same thing with Heat Haze on Bridget because it does the same thing. Hugo and Bridget joined us because we got rid of the misunderstanding and they want to help us stop Malos, and they are going to be the tank of the party, so we want them to have the aggro of enemies as much as possible, essentially. I level up Mithras and Jin Arts just to increase their damage. That's going to be important for later on as well. And that's our second wood spot. We have enough puzzle tree wood for the crafting we need to do later on, so that's good. We also picked up a quest earlier from a dude named Doc where we have to kill some Ferrises, which is doubly beneficial for us because we also need beast meat that they drop for something later on as well. So the general strategy here is have the Espina Ferrises come to you and try to fight both of them at the same time, and then one of them will be able to call over his allies with a move called Beast Howl, assuming everything works properly, although I think I get a little trolled during this run, I can't actually remember. Which I might end up losing time to. So this fight's pretty simple, just standard Laura stuff. Use your arts, use your break, swap to Jin, topple, and then use specials to do as much damage as possible to kill them. Adam tried to launch there, but he was a little bit too late with that, so that's a little bit unfortunate. Not a huge issue, though. I used my level 2 on the other Sparrows there, just because my party is handling the other ones, and I'm just going to try to do some damage to this one in the meantime. The first Espina Ferris dies there, and the second one uses Beast Howl, which is supposed to summon the other ones, but for some reason it didn't work out. It was supposed to here. Yes, I do get trolled here. I was supposed to summon these two small ones. I'm a little annoyed at that, because now the fight resets and I don't have all my damage stacked anymore, so it's going to make this fight a little bit slower now. I pick up beast meat drops as well. We need 10 total for the game. We only fight 7 over here, so there's not as much of a chance of getting everything we need right now, but we can pick them up later if we don't get them now. But there is an okay chance of getting the 10 you need before leaving Gormont, and it's not a terrible chance at all. So I end up getting a really good beast meat drop from these two Pharises, so it ended up being worth it to fight those two. We don't actually need them for a quest, so I actually could have just skipped them there instead. But, glad I did not. I think I already got my Floral Soil from that yellow collectible spot that you might have saw before I fought the Pharises. So I probably don't need any more mineral spots either. I don't remember for sure, but I think that's what I did. So now we need to go all the way over here. And this will unlock another collection skip travel point for us, allow us to craft, and also continue the main story all at once, because we'll be doing the main story quest. There's also another quest over here that we'll be picking up and doing a bit later, but we need to craft something first. First of all, we need to craft 2 survivalist sandwiches with gin, and then 2 trout stralu. The survivalist sandwiches are going to be used in a quest, and the trout straw is just because we need to craft 5 items for a field skill. And then we need to get the Silver Seeker with Hugo. The Silver Seeker is an item that lets us get collectibles, mechanical collectible items out of old machines. And we're going to be able to take advantage of that now. I skip travel back to Elijah Cove here. There's a mechanical collectible spot right next to here that we can now get stuff out of. The first time I come through here, I need a Scarlet Coil and a Bat Hinge. And then the second time I'm going to need to have at least 2 alloy, or at least 2 apple lamps and like 1 alloy sheeting, I believe. Or it might be reversed, it might be 2 and 1. Usually you'll get them no matter what. I actually think I don't this time around, but usually you'll get them no matter what. So we need to kill 1 more Espina Ferris, and we're able to actually do that here. Just kill the same one we killed before, because we're getting to go back this way anyway. And it's helpful for the other collection spots if we need to get the mineral spot again, if we didn't get the Floral Soil, and all that. Let's fight just the same strategy as the last fight, of course. Jin's level 2 is pretty powerful. It does extra damage to top-leveled enemies, and Jin's level 3, like I said, does extra damage to higher-leveled enemies, so those are 2 applications of those specials that are going to be useful for later on. I get some more beast meat there. I don't know exactly how much I just know I did end up getting what I needed from this. The beast towel actually works that time, so the other Ferris actually joins the fight. Looks like I got 1 from that one. I used this level 4 car. I actually meant to use level 3, but I think I just didn't move far away from Laura to break the level 4 chain, so I could use level 3. It ends up killing, and get the remaining beast meat I need, and I think that's pretty dang good. Looks like I didn't have all the Floral Soil, okay. But I get it there. So we have it there, we have the Floral Soil now. And we're good to continue doing the things we need to do while we are here. Killing the 3 Espina Ferrises also allows us to complete the quest that Dot gave us earlier. That's going to give us another community member. Collecting the bug spot for the sticky stick insects. We still need 15 of those for later. And by going over here, we can finish out this main quest of like finding these lost children and rescuing them, which is something we have to do before we can even continue everything else in the story. So now that we've done that, we can skip travel back to the Lakeshore campsite to turn in the quest. I still need my flower points, so I'm trying to get my Panda Pansy still. And once again, I get trolled. I actually do get 1 there, but I still need 2 more. So that's something I'm going to have to get later on. And we turn in our quest to Doc, get our 3rd community member out of 48, 40 minutes in. That's pretty impressive since there's only 2 more hours left in this run, and we somehow get the remaining 45 people in that time period. Community will start going much faster later on. There's just a lot of preparation in the early game and stuff we have to do before we can really get into that part of the game. We skip travel to another place we picked up earlier, Singberry's Bow, and this is going to allow us to do the Lyda quest we picked up earlier. So Lyda has passed out over here, and we need to give her food to rescue her. So that's why we picked up the survivalist sandwiches earlier. Those are important. This is a flower point we're going to get along the way. Get those panda panties. I now have 2, I believe. Oh, I got 3. I got 3. We're good. I could have collected that point on the way back also, so I wasn't super concerned with not getting it there. Now you might be wondering why I did not pick up the wood there. Well, that's because on certain things, if you advance the next part of the game, it'll just automatically pick up everything that's currently on the ground, which is really funny. So I gave her the survivalist sandwiches. I talked to her again, and you'll see in the bottom left corner there, it just gave me all the collectibles. Pretty convenient to save some time in a couple locations. I'm going to keep picking up these wood spots, because like I said, we need a lot of wood for later on, especially the muscle branches and puzzle tree wood. And we have to find Lyda in 3 locations to finish this quest. And it's very convenient because we need some collectibles, and this helps us get a lot of collectibles along the way. Like this right here, another wood spot we need. Hay's very helpful with that, at least. And that little cutscene also respawns the point once again, so I can collect more stuff. And then we're going to head back to that area where we were at before one more time. So the 3rd time we're passing the same flower point if we need it. And we also get wood one more time for over here, and then we're going to go up this little branch here. It's a little faster to go up from the other side, but since you need the wood collectible, sometimes it's better to go over here anyway. So we can go up this tree trunk here. And talk to Lyda at the top, and that's going to finish the quest. Now, I would try to explain everything that's going on in all of these quests, but that would take a lot of time. But just know you should play Torna if you have not played it yet, because there's a lot of really fun quests that explain a lot in these games, and really, really foreshadow a lot of events in the base game as well, and it really helps just bring the game together, make the community feel so close. Because a lot of these NPCs will be seen in later quests as your friends and allies, and it's just a really cool feature. I really do enjoy it a lot. So we get 2 community members from that quest, Lyda and her blade Kata. And now our next order of business is to head to the hidden hunting camp again and do that quest that we saw earlier. This quest is going to be over in like 10 seconds, because all we needed were the 2 items. This quest basically is just telling us how to craft a Seeker, which we already got with Hugo, and telling us to find some certain items. And if we find those items, we'll complete the quest and add them to our community. So we've already got those items, and so we can just talk to them again after accepting this quest, and the quest will be over.
I'd like you to trust us with this.
Fortunately, one of the easiest community members to get. The Scarlet Coil's drop rate isn't super great, but there's so many drops that you will normally get from those mechanical parts that it's usually not a concern. Funnily enough, I struggled with one of the more common drops, I think. So I do this spot one more time, and I do not get any alloy sheeting, so... And I don't think I got any last time either. I just probably assumed that I did, because it's not that rare. So I accept this quest, and just assume I'll be able to do the next objective instantly.
I'm certain it'll be worth it in the long run.
And I don't have enough, so I'm like, crap. And I have to skip travel back and do this again.
It's a nice change of pace.
This is becoming addictive.
And I get the alloy shooting that time, so we're good. Now I can go back and talk to the Napon. And while skip traveling for that is time loss, it's not a really huge deal. Sometimes you just have to skip travel for stuff. It happens.
I think we've been spotted.
So, basically those mechanical parts allows the Napon to dive into the sea below and bring up a treasure chest, but he also brings up this enemy, and we have to fight the enemy now. This enemy can't be broken normally, but you can topple him when he self-breaks himself by using that move there. And by doing that, you can pretty much end the fight really quickly afterwards, because He's pretty much a pushover after you break him, because he doesn't have his, like, massive, like, annoying blocking moves anymore.
Are you sure about that? He's quite.
So after we collect the treasure chest and talk back to Dudon again, he'll be added to our community as well. And a lot of these quests we'll be doing are prerequisite for quests later on as well, so even if they might seem like they take a while, they are still the better quests to do for the fastest way to complete the community level 4 requirement for the story.
Give me a shout next time something happens.
There's a total of like 89 people you can get in the community, and that's community level 6, but not something that is super concerning at the current moment in time, and not something we're worried about when we're speedrunning the game, since we only need to get 48 to actually beat the game. After doing the Dudon quest, I turn in the main story quest, and then I do the final quest we're going to be doing in Gormott here, which is talking to Bothane here, and Bothane wants to test his skills, so we have to do a fight against him. And this fight's actually scary. He has the ability to one-shot you if he crits you on his first attack, because his standard attack here just does so much damage. He's supposed to be a sniper, so I think that's how they showcase that, by making his standard attack have a long cooldown but do a ton of damage. So the general way to beat him is just break him so he can't use his standard attack too often, just get him in that driver combo and just don't let him move. And hopefully Adam does his thing where he extends the combo duration with his talent art, which is what he did there, it looked like, so that's good. Normally he would launch in the smash and the fight would be over. It doesn't look like he did it there, fortunately, but Bothane's pretty close to dead at this point. We can break him another time here anyway and finish him off. As long as you get past the first part of this fight, it's usually not an issue, but it's still somewhat scary. You might have to redo the fight if he one-shots you, and that can waste like 40 to 45 seconds or so. But if you just beat him, he'll join your community as well. And we have 8 community members before leaving Gormott. So now we have to watch a couple more cutscenes before we split here and leave Gormott for good. But we're skipping the cutscenes obviously because it's a speed run, but we'll be able to leave Gormott after that.
It has been a learning experience.
All in all, besides the one skip travel, that wasn't a terrible Gormott. I had to pick up a lot of extra flower collections points than usual, but I only had to skip travel one time. I got trolled a little bit by the Ferrises, but it was a decent Gormott overall. The fights could have been faster too. At least the land shark fight that I didn't get the fusion combo in. But a decent Gormott section. If you can just get out of here and like not like terribly far behind, it was a decent and good Gormott. The split will end after we talk to this dude and skip the next cutscene, and then we'll be back on the Tornan continent. We'll be in a different region of Torna, but we will be back in Torna, so a lot of the collectibles will be the same there, and we've already got quite a few of them. There are new things we'll be able to pick up now that we're in a different region, but a lot of stuff will be similar. This is the Alena region, the hometown or home base of Adam here. By doing this field check, we can unlock a treasure chest behind the wall that gives us some good core chips we'll be using a little bit later on. So the Alena section of the game is less troll collectibles and more troll fights. You'll see a split later on titled WTF is this fight, and that is probably because that is the worst fight in the game. At least, just in general, that fight is a giant pain. There is a very dangerous thing that can happen in the second phase of that fight. The first phase is actually fine, but the second phase is very, very scary, especially if your Hugo is only level 21. Which happens more often than not, because a lot of times it's hard to get all the fusion experience you need to get him to 22. So here I checked Bridget's chart very briefly, so she gets the level of botany. That gives us a chance of getting extra fruit or vegetables from those, or flowers from those collection spots. And looking at the current objective right now, we're able to see what we need. I need a couple more weeping flower, I think, and then I need 3 lacto nuts. We have not gotten to any lacto nut spots yet, but we're able to get them here. This spot drops the weeping flower and some other flowers we might need later on. Get all the stuff I need there.
This is becoming addictive.
And then the fruit spots or veggie spots here drop the lacto nuts. I only get 1 from that spot. They're not super rare, but sometimes it likes to troll you a little bit.
Aren't we intrepid?
And we also are looking for tawny carrots. We need 5 of those for later as well. This last spot has the highest chance of Lactonut, so hopefully we end up getting the last one here. And I do. But before we head back, we do want to pick up this landmark, the Turkin Cliff Colony. We're going to need that for later. Afterwards, I head back to the Aletta Militia Garrison, because we don't really need anything else right now. So, I just go talk to my friend Brogan here, and tell him we have collected the materials we need to feed the army at Adam's base here. That was a main story quest, so unfortunately no community for that one, but
I think we've done what
not a huge deal. We got to go through the story as well. The next split here involves fighting 2 Gargoyles, or basically gorilla-type enemies that are blocking the path for where we need to go.
I said I'd do it.
That's why the split is titled Monkey. And they're not too bad at all. They're a little troll, but they're not too bad. I think I actually ended up having kind of a slow fight this run against them because I didn't land any breaks. They just like resisted all of them, but that happens sometimes. Right now I need to rest at the camp. We've stacked up a lot of bonus experience from the quests we've done, plus just all the landmarks and locations we visited, so we can level up pretty highly now. Lower goes all the way to level 23. Adam goes to 22. And Hugo, unfortunately, only 21. Now, why does that matter? Well, basically there are level penalties in this game, so the higher level an enemy is against you, the more advantages they have against you. It doesn't really matter, like, at all for most levels, but at a certain point it starts becoming an issue. Like, the enemy we're going to be fighting in the next split is going to be 8 levels higher than Hugo. If he was only 7 levels higher than Hugo, he'd actually be doing 20% less damage to him, which makes the fight significantly safer just by that alone, because he's not going to be in risk of getting one-shot by the really dangerous move. So that's just something that you have to keep in mind when playing this game, especially. Always keep track of your level and make sure you are in a good spot to not have enemies just absolutely crush you. Level penalties can get absolutely ridiculous when it's more than 10 levels higher than you. It can stack up really fast. Enemies can do like over 400% extra damage to you. And can be really dangerous. We're picking up this Panacellin here because it's needed for a quest later, so we just go ahead and handle that. It also helps us get a treasure chest that has some ox cores we're going to need later on as well.
All right, remind me why we're here again.
And from this point, I have to do a menu. So I give Adam a fluffy hat and a rigid vest that's going to increase his health to give him better survivability, and his ether stat to do some more damage with that. And then I want to get Arch Chain on both him and Laura. Arch Chain is very important because, actually looks like I get Arch Chain on Adam later because I'm trying out a new strategy, but Arch Chain is very important because it allows us to cancel all of our arts into other arts instead of having to use auto attacks or anything else first. That's going to speed up combat even more and be very, very beneficial in a lot of situations. We equip the Amethyst Shift to Mithra and Jin to make them more powerful. I also give Mithra and Jin the outdoor attack up, because we fight outside most of the speedrun, and that's just going to increase their damage even further and be really useful. So here are the 2 Gargoyles we have to fight. Hugo's not actually with us for the fight, so it's just Bridget on that team. So she's going to be slow charging up specials and doing stuff in general. But not the biggest issue in the world. We're just basically trying to get as many breaks and fusion combos as we can on them, but I actually don't, like I said, I don't think I actually get any breaks in this fight, funnily enough. That ends up being really slow. Yep, there's a resist. Getting low on health, so I swap to Jin so I don't die. Or I actually don't, but I go for another break, and then I swap. The red health there you will restore when you swap characters. That's one of the main ways to heal in Torna. The other way is like potions from health drops and Haze. Haze has healing arts. But we don't want to use Haze in the run because it's usually just slow in general. So you can see right now, they're just resisting all my breaks today. They do not actually have that high of a break resistance. You have higher than 50% chance to break them for sure. 60% actually, but they're just not cooperating right now. But sometimes enemies just like doing that and making the fight slower than they should be. Bridget has 51 health because we haven't been able to get any health potions. I finally actually get a break here, it looks like, and then I miss my topple with Jin, so it doesn't end up doing anything. I don't even get potions, so Bridget ends up dying because of that too. Just a awkward situation in general. Just very trolled this entire fight, so I end up losing time on this fight when I definitely could have had a much faster fight and saved a lot more time here. But not a huge issue because they're not like super dangerous enemies. I'm able to take the remaining one out without any issues at all.
One less problem in the world.
So, now that we've done that, we're going to rest up at our camp one more night before heading out. And Hugo's going to rejoin the party as well before we head out, so we have that full team and almost have our entire full party. There's one more person that's going to join us very soon here. Skip travel to the Turkin Cliff Colony after doing that. Now I need to get some items called nest extracts now. We can obtain these by fighting some nests on the way to the next location, and we wanted to get 5 of these before fighting that next fight if we can, because it'll save the most amount of time. There are fortunately 5 nests on the way that you can fight if needed, but it's always faster to do it in like 3 or 4 if you can, but doesn't always happen, of course. And sometimes you can get really unlucky and not even be done in 5, so that can happen. I think I had 4. I needed 4 nests in this run. So all we do is we do these and then we run away. Hugo ends up dying on that one, but not a huge issue. The remaining nests we can basically fight all at once without ending the actual combat if we're not unlucky. And that'll save time as well because we'll keep our combat bonuses. So after getting here, we do our next menu. This is going to be getting Arch Chain on Hugo and also giving him some extra health to survivability and also a muscle belt to increase his strength. And we want to give Arch Chain to Hugo and Adam as well now. Now, you might be wondering why we're doing that if we're not controlling them. Well, giving Arch Chain to AI helps them charge specials faster, so it's still really beneficial to do this. Don't ask me why it works that way, but it's just like programmed into the code of the game that they will charge up specials faster if they have Arch Chain. I could have gotten Arch Chain on Adam earlier, but like I said, there's a new skill routing where we wanted to fight the Gargoyles first before actually doing this. But that's how that works essentially. There's another nest. We'll be able to hopefully get the honey from this that we need, or nest extracts, I think. After that, we are going to run a de-equip weapon and run away, but we're going to be into another fight before we actually finish running away from the enemy, so we keep our combat bonuses. And there are 2 other nests on the far side near the wall there. I'm at 3 nest extract right now, so if I got 2 here, I'd be done after this, but unfortunately only 1. But that's kind of expected, obviously. So I head to the last spot over here. There's another one on the other side of the wall. Right there, you can just briefly see if we needed that one. This is a little risky because you can get low on health, but usually you'll be fine at this point. So I end up getting the nest extracts I need, and we're good to go after that. Alright, so here's the fight. We come across this really mean enemy called a Jaggeron, and it's basically blocking our path, so we have to deal with it. There are 2 phases to this fight. Once you get him half HP, it'll have a cutscene, and the second phase will start. The first phase is not really bad at all. He doesn't really use his powerful attack that often, and he's not on raid, so he doesn't have like extra stats or anything either. The second phase is just where it's really, really dangerous, and he can easily one-shot a level 21 Hugo, who is your tank, and the fight can very easily go downhill from there. Right here, your goal is to use an Ultimate Aurora on the topple, and that should usually end phase 1 as fast as possible here. So I wait till the last moment to topple after breaking with Laura there, specifically for that reason. So I'm able to have everyone special up and just end this first phase as fast as possible here. The second phase, he has a move called Rolling Claw. It does a ton of damage. It can easily one-shot. The ideal way to do this is break him out of it if you can, but it's not a guaranteed break, unfortunately, so that's something to keep in mind. But if Hugo's level 21, it can definitely be worth going for. You'll have to use Swallow's Flight, which is also risky, but you can kind of predict it based on when he's doing stuff. I messed up the timing there. He's not actually doing stuff yet, but Jin's so close to off cooldown, I'm able to swap to topple him before he's able to get the move off anyway, which is going to be very helpful. And from there, Hugo's restores a little bit of his health. We get another break. And we're okay for right now. We're able to use, and there's the Rolling Claw. That's what's dangerous. I tried to use Ultimate Aurora before it went off, but didn't quite come out. If we're in like a cutscene like this, the damage will not go through for anything. You basically get invincibility frames, and that's what I was trying to do there. It didn't end up working, so Team Minoth, or our last character who joined Team Adam there, ends up dying, and we're in a very dangerous spot now, you notice. Everyone's really low on health, and like another Rolling Claw could easily end our run here because I don't have the party mater to keep doing this. Hugo dies again. I have to pick him up. You can see how scary this ends up getting for sure. I go for a break with Jin, with Laura, just because it's my last recourse, and I topple with Jin, who's off cooldown, and we're able to end the fight with that, thankfully. And yeah, we were able to get past the fight. Very, very scary, but we're able to get past it. Definitely could have gone a lot better. If you're able to get good timing, you can get the same like combo you got in phase 1 off, but that relies on the AI as well, so not always the most reliable thing in the world. That's pretty much the scariest fight in the game overall. There's other fights later that are definitely annoying and dangerous, but that's probably the one that can be the biggest run-ender for sure, because it's just really risky, especially if you can't get the break you need. So from there we have to cross the desert to get to the capital of Torna, Resco. So to cross the desert we need to have those nest extract and those tawny carrots to make the medicine we need. So that's why we had to collect those from earlier.
May I offer my assistance? Even on familiar ground.
I'm not talking as much now because my voice is hurting, obviously, because commentating long speed runs like this continuously can be strenuous on your voice. But I'll make sure to commentate when things are important. We get our next member of the community by doing Mungo's personal quest there, which was getting those the penicillin from the Turk and Cliff colony. We also got our medicine, so we're able to skip travel back to the bridge and be on our way. Before crossing the desert, our next destination is a place called Hyber Village.
Alright, remind me why we're here again?
I swapped to Haze here simply because I like playing as Haze. We don't do any fights for like another like 20 plus minutes, so I'm able to just play as Haze here because I want to play as Haze because I like Haze. Haze is awesome. If you don't like Haze, then I don't know what to tell you because Haze is epic. Very cute and sweet character. I like her a lot. So in Hyper Village, there are some things we need to do. We have to talk to some required people to talk to. We need to buy some stuff for 2 reasons. One is that we want to have some safety because we can buy some items called a gear vest here, which will increase our maximum HP by 20%, and that's going to be really helpful for basically all of our party members for later fights, just for safety. And we also buy an iron headband, which increases critical damage. That's going to be important later too. We also need to buy items because Haze has a skill in our skill tree which requires buying items from shops or like spending a certain amount of money. So we needed that. We need that for quests and stuff later as well.
Oh, here's something.
These mechanical parts I'm going to need. I don't actually pick them up because it's another situation where we'll just automatically get them. You'll notice it's hard to keep track of the specific number of certain collectibles, but a lot of times you can just assume you'll get what you need for like certain stuff that's like really common and you don't need a ton of. Now I need Shepherd's coronets from this really rare flower spot. That's the main thing I'm looking for. We need 2 of those. Those are like one of the rarest flowers. We also need 2 angel sages at some point, and we need 1 bladed holly, which I think I've already gotten. And I'm also going to pick up fruit spots because we need some general fruits and sour avocados for later still. I need like 11 sour avocados total, that would be helpful, but there are other options if you do not get the 11 total. There are other things you can do there, which are not as good, but will still be helpful and useful. So we were able to get both two levels of Haze's Keen Eye. One was related to shopping, and one was related to opening treasure chests. And we just picked up some useful aux cores from those chests there. Hunter's Chemistry and Element Orb Prioritizer. Element Orb Prioritizer is useful for the chain attacks we're going to use in this run, which is a total of 2. And the Hunter's Chemistry will increase our base affinity at the start of combat on everyone, and it can be active on blades that aren't even currently in the party, so that's going to be very, very useful as well.
Perfect base of operations.
So now we're in the desert, there's some other quests you'll notice out here that we're able to pick up. This one just requires us to go to a certain spot on the map and pick up a treasure.
We can take care of
Very, very easy quest, one of the easiest in the game, for sure. Hope you're listening to this background music right now. It is beautiful, one of my favorite area themes in the entire Xeno series. I think all of the Torna music is actually really good. All of the extra music added to this game is fantastic. I really can't say enough about how good this game is. Pretty much all of Xenoblade 2 is just like my favorite game ever. There's just so much to this game, and a lot of things that I will carry with me for the rest of my life. It has had a very big impact on my life, for sure.
Take a peek.
That's the treasure chest we need to pick up. We're going to pick up a couple more collectibles that we're going to need. Trying to get another Shepherd's Coronet from here. I don't think it's as quite high odds, but you can drop it, so I don't have to skip travel, hopefully. I might have already gotten the 2. I don't actually know. I know I got at least 1 from the last spot, though. And these spots also can drop extra lilies of the Sunny Valley we might need later. I needed those 3 earlier, like, especially, but you can get some others here for the others we're going to need for later, for the other crafting we do. And this is why we needed the avocados. Palva here needs some water, so we have to give her some stuff that has high in water content. And the avocados give the most. Each avocado will fill this meter up by 10, and the other stuff will not fill it up by that much. You see I only have 9 avocados, but there are other options, as you can see. The ruby pineapple gives 5 particularly, so that can be helpful as well. Now, you might be wondering, why was I worried about the avocados? Well, I've actually been short on that once, just of all the fruit in general, and that cost me a lot of time, so still very important to get that. So notice here we actually just lost community for saving that girl. Well, basically some stuff happened, and one of the people that were in our community before is a friend of this girl, and they were trying to do something, and they got angry at each other because of issues, and that guy left our community temporarily. But if we complete the quest, he will join back, so it's not a huge issue. So here I checked charts for just to get access to the field skills that we're going to need coming up. Checking the charts will unlock the skills so we can actually use them. That's important as well in this game.
Anything good here?
These fish spots, we don't actually need any specific fish at this point. We just need an assortment of fish more than anything. We do need some horned sculpin and Torna and trout for crafting, but you'll pretty much always get those. Those are like the most common fish in Torna. You'll pretty much always get what you need for that, so we're not really super concerned with those. From these fish spots, it's better to get rare fish because that'll help the other quests be a little bit faster later on. Alright, from the wood spots here, we need 2 curious rotting leaves. They're decently likely that the 2 you need in the first 2 spot are 2 here. So this isn't usually a huge issue at all. Especially since Haze has the wood rate activation of 60%, I think. And it looks like I got both there, so I don't have to worry about that at all. And I can just head into the capital. Or, yeah, looks like I'm concerned about something.
Anything good here?
So I just collect this anyway. Okay, well, I'm sure I have what I need now. And now we have arrived in the capital of Oresco. Once we skip this next cutscene, that's when the split is going to be. And it's basically the exact same split. It's still plus 201, so I guess I got a gold by like milliseconds. I don't know. But very funny, that was basically the exact same amount of time.
Well, here we are.
I say
So now that we're here, there's a lot of things we can do. Gideon here is going to help with our quest that we are currently doing. And he also has a quest of his own that we can do right now, which requires the mechanical parts that we picked up earlier. Which is just any mechanical parts. If we just give him stuff, he'll just will automatically be able to finish his quest, which is really funny, honestly, that he can just make any assortment of mechanical parts work here, but it is what it is. So we just give him what we have, and we do that twice, and that'll finish the quest. Very, very simple and easy. I apologize for the moments I stop talking. My voice does start hurting after a while of talking straight like this.
you didn't have to, but thanks.
But you kind of get the point. I'll make sure to explain everything that's important, obviously.
Put a smile on
From here, we head to the next story objective and get some landmarks along the way. Not too difficult to remember there.
Well, here we are.
I say we rest a bit. Who's in?
Once we skip that next cutscene objective after talking to Clemens there, we need to get a treasure chest that we can access now from this location over here.
Let's
This has some useful core chips in it to power up our blades even further, which is going to be useful for the next fights that we're going to be doing in this run.
just take a peek.
After that, we are going to be doing a picking up and doing quest spree here to get community level 2. We cannot actually advance the story now until we get community level 2, which requires 16 people in it.
It's a nice change of
Right now, we are at 8. We pick up this quest from Tico, which requires us to track some missing Armus,
I'd like you to trust us with this.
which we'll find later. Ignoring the quest from Omnom. And now getting a quest from Obibi, the cloth merchant. We need to help him find some success with his shop now.
I'm
A lot of these quests we'll be able to do at once, as you'll notice. We can multitask very efficiently with a lot of the routing done in this run. Now we head to the main gate and get a chest from Chalcedony, the Lantern quest. So Chalcedony can't leave his post right now, so we have to go light this lantern for him, which is 2 feet from his post, and talk to him. And he tells us he saw the whole thing. Quest isn't over yet, though. We actually have to light 4 more lanterns around the town. But we can do that on the way to like every other objective we do, making it a very easy quest to complete as we're doing other things. Joey gives us some more information about the missing Armus. And Deku Deku is going to help us in the cloth merchant quest, because he knows a lot about clothes. So he heads over there. We get this extra fish spot in case we need it.
Anything good here?
Don't actually get anything really that useful there, but we still got it. We light one of the lanterns and get this landmark at the rear gate, which we're going to need later on. And from there we go back to the inn, and we're going to finish up the cloth merchant quest already, and get 2 more community members. This is why we needed a lot of materials from earlier. We have to craft, or have the materials to make 2 hats. And then we have to pick between the hats to see what the new product is going to be in the shop. The choice does not actually matter. It does not affect anything no matter what. So you can pick whatever hat you want, and the Nappan will be wearing it afterwards, which is cute and awesome. This is why we needed a lot of those materials from earlier. I just choose the knit hat because it's a little bit faster by like the 0.3 seconds, very, very important there. And you can see the second Nappan here is wearing the knit hat in the community menu now, so.
Thank you.
Now that's going to be the new item in their merch shop. From there we're going to go track and find the Armos while doing the some other quests and finishing those up. By going to the main gate, we'll be able to do a field skill to track them and where they went.
Over here again?
And then we will skip travel all around the desert to do all that stuff.
It was a nice change of pace.
All right. Remind me why we're here again?
The first armor is really easy to find. We just skip travel to the edge of the desert here, and we can just jump over the rock there to find him. From there, we go to the Great Break Sand landmark, and we're going to finish up that quest we started earlier. We had to give the girl the fruit because she was dying from thirst.
Remind me why we're here again?
And now that we have a machine that's going to help us with what she wanted to do, we'll be able to add these 2 back into our community. Just gotta pick up this collection point, which has some coins in it, and then talk to her again. We don't actually need the coins. We don't need to buy anything else the rest of the way. So those are useless to us now. But it gives us 2 new community members and some bonus experience to use at the
Have to.
campsites, so we definitely want to take advantage of that. Because we're going to be using the campsite in just a second, actually. We're at 13 community members now, as you might have noticed, so we're very close.
I'm glad it all worked out.
So we're going to skip travel back to the beginning of the desert and talk to the girl who wanted us to find the treasure, and that'll complete that quest and put us up to 14. And from there, we're going to go to the campsite and cash in on all the bonus experience we've gotten for completing these quests, and then doing a pretty long menu, probably the longest in this game, to get our characters ready for the fights ahead.
You didn't have to, but thanks.
A happy conclusion.
We also need to craft 11 things here. We need to craft a far-sighted talisman, 5 Mithra cookie items, including the hole loop on the bum, which you know we need the sand opal, and then at least 2 pureed sculpin parfait, which required the lilies we needed. And then 5 Beyond Endless Dunes with Minoth here, which requires memento bark and sticky sticks, insects. That's gonna cover all we need from that for now, and we're also gonna level up.
We have to move ever forward.
All the items we craft are gonna be very useful for stuff.
What an incredible feeling.
A lot of it field skills, which will help us do quests later. We'll skip travel back to the Great Break Sand, and then I do the menu.
Here.
Let's get a move on then.
So first things first, we need to equip the gear vests and the iron headband on Laura, and we need to equip the other gear vests on our other 2 party members, and we also give Adam some additional health by giving him the infantry vest that Hugo had, and then give the final gear vest to Hugo as well. And now we need to give the far-sighted talisman to Hugo. We need to give the 2 desserts we crafted, which we had to have, to Adam, and then give Beyond Endless Dunes to Adam then, and then give the Beyond Endless Dunes to Laura as well. We needed to craft 5 items with Mithra total to get Jin's Fortitude level 2, and we needed to give the 2 desserts to Adam to get an extra field skill there as well. And Aegeon needed the Farsighted Talisman to get another level of Super Strength, which we also need for our quest later on. We get Bridge of the Rhombus chip. It has a high block rate, which is going to be helpful in giving her some extra survivability in a lot of fights. Aegeon gets the Tri-chip to increase his power as well. Jin gets the Motor chip. Haze gets the Glass chip. The Motor chip has the highest auto attack, but it does have a low crit rate, so that's actually one thing to keep in mind about that chip, and one reason I don't know if it's actually better than the Glass chip on Jin, since we do give him the Iron Headband, which is supposed to increase critical damage, but I don't know. I haven't actually seen what the actual difference would be there. Bridget gets Element Orb Prioritizer, because she's going to be breaking the orbs and chain attacks that we need, and I'll discuss those when we get to that. And then Hunter's Chemistry goes on Haze and Minoth. Since those aren't blades that are normally active in the fights that often, that's the best blades to really put them on. So here, we need to get the second Armu. You would normally have to do this fight and then rescue the Armu, but funnily enough, if you just run away, they will despawn for a little bit, and you're actually able to go talk to the Armu before they respawn again, which is really funny, because it allows us to rescue the Armu without having to do the fight. That's the fastest way to do that. And then from there, we need to find the last Armu, but we also need to get a landmark to skip travel back to later. And this is also how we needed those field skills pretty early on, because we need level 2 of Super Strength and Swift Swordplay from Jin to get through this little area here. And then by climbing on these vines, we can get the landmark we need. This is a beautiful area, but unfortunately we don't actually get to see it right now because it's faster to drop down, but we will see it later. It's a very beautiful area, one of the prettiest areas in this series for sure. And our last Armu is right below us, so it's very convenient to get that there. From here, we're going to go back to the main gate and turn in that quest, and that's going to get us to the 16 required community members for level 2. And that will allow us to continue with the main story for now.
All right, remind me why we're here again?
Whoa, this is awkward. Well done.
Funnily enough, this also is a 201 split, it looks like. Or 202. So pretty much about the same time there as well. There's no fights in that sequence, so typically you will do that in about the same time every time if there's no time loss to RNG from not having collectibles or stuff like that. And now the fun begins. The capital gets attacked by Malos, and we have to do a bunch of fighting. There's also one more menu here that we need to do, which is just going to be getting some extra skills on our characters now that we have access to as much weapon points, and skill points as possible right before the fights. We swap Hugo's art order as well, just because we want Topple on a certain thing so he has access to it instantly, and that's the same reason Laura's break is on the B button.
Must have improved.
Because we're going to get
This is
use B at the start of battle on Laura's tree so she can break instantly. And the Topple button will be what Hugo can use at the start of battle. And we're going to be controlling Adam for the next 3 fights, because that's actually better to control Adam for these fights in particular because of the strategy we're trying to do in them. Also because they're weak to dark, and Mithra can do a lot of damage to them because she's the light element blade. So Gargoyle, the ideal strategy here is get a break, and then from there, once Hugo topples, you extend the topple with Adam's Transcend ability, and then use Volt. From there, you Transcend again after the Volt expires, and use Bridget's Flame Bolt, and then use Jin's Ultimate Aurora, assuming the topple is still applied. You might have to use it again, but hopefully, if you do, you can pick up health potions before using it, so Haze doesn't come out because you're too low on HP, because AI Laura will swap to Haze if one party member gets below 40% health, so that's something to keep in mind as well. So, once we get the Ultimate Aurora off, we can transcend one more time. We have like a triple stack fusion combo on this Topo, so the rest of the Gargoyles' health just goes down really fast once we swap to Mithra. And that's how the ideal way to do these fights, and that's the fastest they will possibly go. We have to fight 3 of these before we can move on to the next split. And that's when the split will end. Now you might be wondering why it's called Saga 1 PTSD. Well, there is a boss enemy in Xenosaga Episode 1 called Gargoyle, which is probably the worst boss in the entire series, at least in speedrunning. It is very random and very, very annoying. So that's why it's called that. Anyone who watched those speedruns when I did them probably knows just how much I hate that fight more than any other fight in the series. So I get the break here, I do the same strategy again. It's actually pretty simple to execute as long as you get the break. If you don't get the break, you have to play it a bit safer. Probably use the Ultimate Aurora and then swap to Mithra and get a level 4, so you can invincibility frame through like one of his really dangerous moves. That is going to be time loss, but it's better to play these fights safe. These things are really dangerous if you're not careful. Fortunately, though, not too many issues here. This enemy took a little bit longer to die than the last one, but we get through it without too many issues. Funny thing to note, these things can be between level 32 to 34, and if they're level 34, you actually kill them faster, because Jin is level 33, and he does the damage to higher leveled enemies, extra damage with the level 3. So that's just really funny. Unfortunately, I had none that were level 34 this time, so I had to fight him a bit slower. Was fortunate to get really fast fights on all 3 of the Gargoyles, thankfully, so that was very helpful. And pretty easy fight there, thankfully. So now we have to fight Malos for the first time. This is going to be the first instance of using a chain attack. Basically, the goal here is get 5 specials on him as soon as possible, and then chain attack instantly afterwards, and just don't chance anything. We swap back to Laura for this fight.
Here we are.
We're going to be using Volt, Flame Bolt, and then Ultimate Aurora again, just with this party, and then we're just going to be using 2 specials. Ideally, Haze special, and then Stone if we can, but we usually don't get to use Stone. It's usually going to be Mithra's Photon, Minos level 1, or a Geon. So, depending on what we get, we're able to use our specials in a certain order in this chain attack to break these orbs. And since Bridget has Orb Prioritizer, she will automatically target weakened orbs to make sure we get the break on those orbs and extend the rounds of the chain attack. I know that probably doesn't make sense if you don't know anything about chain attacks, but essentially you can press the start button to chain attack an enemy if you have a full party meter. And this allows you to essentially just spam him with a bunch of specials, and by breaking orbs you can use an extra round, which allows you to use your specials again, essentially. And by continuously doing this, you can get a full burst, which is a bunch of damage with a lot of with basically all your current party members just unloading on the enemy. So you'll kind of be able to see here how this works. So we burst an orb there, as you can see, and that allows us to extend the chain attack and go another round of using specials. Every round of a chain attack, your special tier gets higher as well, so you do even more damage. And your damage ratio also increases, so you do more damage with that as well.
Magnificent. Wash, rinse, repeat. Magnificent. For my cause.
Jin's gonna finish out that wind orb there since he's ice element, and that's the opposite element for that. Once all the orbs are broken here, we get the full burst. Gonna use Hugo to do that, so Jin gets the full burst, the main full burst. The person who breaks the last orb or triggers the full burst gets to use the level 4 special. The next party member uses their level 3, and the final party member uses their level 2 special, so It's always better to use Jin. You can see his health just dropping fast now that we got the full burst. The full burst do a ton of damage to enemies, and that is how we're able to kill him here. The bonus percent is also your overkill percent. That's how much extra experience you're going to get, so that's helpful as well.
Like I've learned something.
And SP and WP and all that.
Oh, I'm loving this. Good job, my partner.
This fight's kind of scripted as long as you get your specials off in the same amount of time every time. You're not going to ever really gain or lose too much time here if you're fortunate. There is something you can do called Awakening, which can make the fight really dangerous even before you get your specials off, because it'll start doing a bunch of extra damage. But it's only like a 30% chance of triggering every time you use a special on him. So it's not the most common, especially early in the fight, but it can happen and it can be very rough. So now I have to fight 2 Gargoyles at once. We have to do it with Team Laura this time, though, since we were already on them from the Malos fight, but not a huge issue. I tried to give Adam as much time to set up Volt as possible there, but he wasted a bunch of time, so I'm not able to actually get the fusion combo on the topple, unfortunately. But I do use Jin and Laura's level 4 here with the Ultimate Aurora, just do as much damage as I can. And then from there, it's just a matter of trying to get rid of him as fast as possible. Fight can definitely go faster if you get the fusion combos, but not always likely to happen, unfortunately. I end up actually dying in this fight, it looks like. That was unfortunate. Yeah, I definitely have a pretty bad fight here. But, we get rid of the first Gargoyle, thankfully, and since I had Party Meter, it was okay. Hugo's on 8 health. I have to revive him as well, it looks like. So this fight's going very poorly. This could definitely be better. This is probably one of my first worst executed fights in the run. I do get the break there, and Adam actually extends it, so I'm able to use his ability there. But his level 3 is really slow, so he doesn't actually get the chance to extend it any more than that, sadly. I swapped to Haze just for safety to heal everyone, so this is going to slow down the fight also. So you can see I'm definitely losing time compared to my best split here already. This was, unfortunately not the greatest split, but... Swap back to Jin here so I get more damage out of this. And then, the Gargoyle gets smashed. I swap back to Jin after this and just use Ultimate Aurora, and I think that's enough to kill at this point. Definitely could have gone much smoother if my combo execution was better and stuff like that, but still got past it and didn't like have anything really catastrophic happen, like having my entire party get wiped or lose party meter or stuff like that, so that was still very helpful. So now, we get to the quiet part of the run, essentially, Community Level 3 and Community Level 4. This is basically just going to be doing a bunch of quests until we hit Community Level 4. And there's not actually too much fighting. There's only basically three fights total in the next couple splits, and one fight is a joke fight. So, just going to be a lot of just trying to go through these quests as fast as possible, remembering to skip travel to the right locations and do the quests in the right order to save as much time as possible. The routing is definitely still interesting here, but this is definitely the downtime section of the run.
Change of pace.
All right, remind me why we're here again.
Although I would say it's very necessary because the final splits of the run are very scary, and you will see when I get there just how scary that ends up being, because I do end up choking on one of the splits. Although I would say that split has very, very hard execution as well. I would have gotten world record if I didn't choke on it, like I already said earlier, but things happen and I feel confident I can still get record pretty soon. So we just do these couple story objectives here before we start getting into community stuff, which just requires us to go meet our dragon friend Deserta at the Titan, actually, but basically a dragon, at the bottom of the continent there, and then rest at the end. And now we can start all of this stuff. We need to do something for our friend Geo. He's trying to help his friend who's in love, so we have to make this charm for him that'll help them get this girl they want. You know how that works. From there, we're going to light another lantern on the way to the next quest. From that lantern quest earlier we haven't finished yet. And we're going to talk to Charlotte. She has a quest for us that's going to require us to go back to Gormat. We have other reasons for going back to Gormat soon as well, so we will be able to handle that stuff then. Then after that, we head to the palace. And pick up another quest here. Now this guy, Niddle, wants us to clean up the rubble in the town after the attack by Malos. So we'll be handling that pretty soon. And then we're going to pick up one final quest at the current moment in time here, which is from an old lady who's notices there's always litter out in front of the capital, and she's really old and can't pick it up very well, so she wants us to go pick it up for her.
I hope we'll be able to help.
So first things first, we're going to go handle the litter quest pickup and go pick up the stuff from that. This is a fun part of the run just because it's funny to make jokes about what's actually on the ground. Like, sometimes you could say, whoa, is that a picture of Pyra or something? Just to mess around. It's all in good fun. I would never make fun of Pyra seriously. I like Pyra. You guys know that. But it is pretty humorous when just talking with Twitch chat and just this part of the game, because I always find that really funny. So after I pick up all the litter, we noticed there's been more litter scattered on the ground. So I had to pick up that as well. And I swapped back to Haze here because, like I said, we're not doing much fighting in this split. So I can play as Haze as much as I want. So after this, we figure out the culprits are some 4 Napan children. And they basically all scatter and hide, and we have to go track them down. But we'll do that a little bit later. For now, we're going to go head out and do some other quests. We need to head to the Aletta region and head to the harbor. We pick up a quest here from Irith, who wants us to find some information on a soldier named Magneth. We don't know where he went. And we just basically have to go search for him. And then we also talked to Hedwyn here. Hedwyn is worried about his family, who were in Gormat. We learned that the children we rescued when the main quest earlier are actually his family. We need to go track them down now. And basically bring them back here so they can all be together. From here we need to head back to the Losaria region very briefly to pick up an item we need to craft that love charm that can only be found here after starting the quest.
Anything good here?
The Pure Stone. Then after that, we're free to head to Gormat and handle everything we need to do there. So in Gormat, our first order of business is heading to the cemetery. We learned that Hedwyn's wife is unfortunately one of the victims that was attacked. So she's not going to be able to join, sadly. We also checked Minos' chart at a very convenient time, because, you know, nothing better than checking Minos' chart right now at this sad moment. After this, we had to Torgoth Arch. We need to find information for one of the other quests we picked up about the glassmaker, the girl
All right, remind me why we're here
who
again.
was looking for information about her instructor. This also gives us an opportunity to pick up some more wood collection spots that we might need for puzzle tree or muscle branches or memento bark, so that's helpful. It's right over here.
Oh, here's something.
We'll go ahead and pick up that stuff.
Let's just take a peek.
And now we go to get this for the quest. And this will lead us to a different area on Gorma, which we have to go to.
Peek.
Tells us to go to Nox Proximity. Pick up the wood spot one more time, just for safety, because it's harder to keep track of how much muscle branch, puzzle tree, and memento bark you have sometimes. And I just want to be safe and make sure I have enough of that stuff. From there, we head to the Henning hunting camp, the last place we saw the children. And we learned they're not actually here, but we're able to track where they went because we're just good at that. So we're gonna we're gonna establish a trail to follow them. And also while we're here, we need to craft that charm. So we use Laura to craft these sweet nothings, and we're gonna be using that to give to the guy later. So what we need to do here now is head to the Nox place. There's unfortunately no convenient skip travel, we just have to walk there from where we are currently. Not a huge deal, but this will be something we need to do to complete this quest, and also do another important quest later on. So we're just walking, and I'm going to rest my voice just a little bit. Right here I check my stuff to make sure I have enough muscle branch there. Loses like 6 to 7 seconds, but I just really wanted to be safe. All the way at the end of this area is the next mining point that we need to pick up here.
Let's just take a peek. Now I'm really curious.
Now that we have that taken care of, we are going to go find the children now. We already know where they went since we're speedrunning, but fastest way to get here is to head to the Singbreeze Bow here, and then go down here, and then fall into this little opening here, which is where they are. Looks like we found them. I was going to pick up the bug spot here for the sticky stick insects, but I accidentally talked to the girl. That's going to waste a couple seconds. And then talk to the boy, because that's who we need to talk to finish this quest. So I picked them up. We'll bring them back to their dad later. We have some other things we need to do now. They can just be along for the ride as we head to the rear gate of Oresco, as we start doing a run-through of the town to pick up Rebel and finish out the lanterns and all, and do some other quests along the way. We also need to search for those 4 Napon who are all hiding in the capital, so this is just a good time to handle basically a bunch of things at once, thankfully. Aegeon will help clear the Rebel out. And what we needed that assortment of fish for later is this dude Tyler. He wants to repopulate the fish. So, based on what fish we got, we can give those to him and do that quest. One of the Napon is hiding right in this corner over here, really easy to find. And now we need to give Tyler some fish. We'll need to give him some more after this. This is only the first part of it. Now we need even rarer fish to give to him. Handled that pretty simply as well. I probably got some extra spots I didn't need, but you can never be too careful. And Tyler will join our community after that, and that quest will be done.
Much appreciated.
Always happy to put a smile on people's faces.
Now it says right here, you see the yellow smiley face over his head? That means if we just talk to him, he'll join our community. No quest required. There are a few people who will join our community like this in this run, so that's always appreciated. No effort. Some more Rebel. One of the lanterns right there on the way. And some more Rebel. If we go in this little alleyway right here, we can talk to one of the 4 Napon children and find him and get him to apologize to the old lady. So that's 2 out of 4 of those. We go back and talk to Geo since we crafted the item he wants, and he tells us we'll go meet with his friend now. So he disappears. We'll be back with that quest in just a second. Here's some additional rubble. We can also finish Charlotte's quest because we found the notes of the Nox proximity in Gormont. And Charlotte will be helping us with something later.
Why, thanks.
Mission accomplished then.
Got some more rubble over here. And then there's the final lantern to light, and the final bit of rubble to clear out. And now we're going to skip travel to the Viridian Gate, which is pretty close to where we are right now. But, got some more things we need to do in the capital around this area. The 3rd Napon child is in the corner over here behind the tree. From there, we go back and talk back to Niddle again. We've cleared out all the rubble, and he tells us we need to go talk to a man named Bry. We talked to Clemens, who's just going to join our community because he's a nice guy.
You didn't have to, but thanks.
And then we go over here to see an event scene with Geo and the person he was helping. And that person he was helping is Leo, a traveling musician who fell in love with one of the girls in the town here, and he wants to go confess his love to her.
Much appreciated.
So he joins our community because he's very grateful for what we did. And that quest will end, and also unlock another quest later on for us as well.
I'm glad it all worked out.
From there, we're going to walk this way and go talk to Bry, the dude Niddle told us to talk to. And from him, we're going to learn that he's mad about his son not being back yet. So, we need to go rescue his son, essentially. And then we're going to climb the watchtower here to go find the last little Napon child. And that's going to handle our round through the city, basically. For now, at least. So there's the last one. Right here. Now we need to travel back to the very first area in the run. The very edge of the Lysaria woodland here. Because that's where we're going to find Kame. Remember Kame? The very first community member? Well, it turns out he's Bry's son, and he's in some trouble here. It appears we have arrived at a very good time to rescue him, essentially. I swap back to Laura here, and make sure Jin's out. And we fight the Creed Griff Fox. This fight's really easy, this enemy's not really dangerous at all. We can just use our standard strategy on him, especially if we get the break fusion combo going here. Unfortunately, I think I was a little early with that topple, or someone was, so I don't actually get the Ultimate Aurora on the fusion there. Otherwise, we would have been able to easily kill him if we got the fusion off. But sadly, it was not a fusion, so we're going to have to waste a little bit of extra time in this fight, killing the remainder of his health bar. But like I said, he doesn't really hurt much at all. He doesn't really do much damage. He's really easy to take out pretty quickly here. Just one more lower level 2 here is probably going to be a lot of damage to get to that goal. But fight can definitely be faster to save some time in this split. And now we talk to Kame, who we just saved. And he says he'll meet us back in the capital. So we're going to head back to the capital now and turn in this quest finally. And from this quest, we're going to get, I think, 3 new community members? No, only 2. I thought it was 3, but it's only 2. But I think it unlocks some stuff for us down the road, which is still very beneficial, even though it might have seemed like a pretty long quest. And a lot of it can be accomplished on the way anyway. Now from here, we're going to turn in the quest involving the old lady, where we initially picked up litter and had to find the 4 Napon. We got them all ready to apologize to her. And this also helps unlock a quest later.
It's a nice change of pace.
All right, remind me why we're here.
And we gain her in our community.
I am honored.
Glad we were able to help out.
And from there, we're going to head to the Aletta region and go to Hyber Village. So another reason we needed some extra Ferris Beast meat is another quest in Hyber we can do.
Right. Where shall
While we're here, we also need to pick up this very important green barrel chest.
treasure?
This has a very important item in it for later called the Silver Earrings, which is going to be very, very helpful on the final boss fight. So we talked to Buzz here. He wants us to get Ferris meat, and we just give him the 5 Ferris meat we got earlier, and he'll join our community.
I'm certain it'll be
Very, very easy quest here, as long as you've got the meat.
Why, thanks.
And because of that, his son, right next to him, will also join our community after the conclusion of this quest. So that actually gives us 2 people in the community very easily here. And now also, while we're here, we're going to go find McNeth.
Whoa.
We're going to learn that McNeth was never really lost. He's basically a conspirator, a traitor to the Ardanian Empire, who's hiding out in this little shack over here. So we have to do a fight against him. This fight is also really easy. It's basically almost the same strategy that you would use against the Grifox from earlier. Except I think he's even less tanky, so this is another really easy fight. He resisted break though, but I'm not worried about him killing me, so I just go for another break here. Resisted that one too. Still not worried about him killing me, so I'll go for another one here. And I get that one, so this is going to be just Flame Bolt into Jin, Ultimate Aurora, and the fight will be over. And that's going to be the end of the fight. This big fusion combo will be plenty of damage to kill him. Very, very easy, very simple.
Ultimate Aurora, top.
We learn he's a spy, but we have some mercy on him and allow him to live, and he's grateful and joins our community for that. Very cool.
Have my thanks.
Unfortunately, he disappears, so we have to tell the guy who wanted to find him that he died and got attacked. So we do that, but it ends the quest and he joins our community too. I guess lying is an effective way to get community members sometimes. And now, remember the kids we saved earlier from Gourmet? Well, they've been tagging along with us for the entire time, but now we're finally bringing them to their father here.
Aren't you glad you asked us?
That is going to get us to 31 community members. We need 32 for level 3, and that is when this split will end. And that's going to be coming very soon here.
Well done, us.
You really shouldn't have. You have our gratitude.
Before we leave, we want to pick up another quest while we're here. Now that we've done all the prerequisite quests required to unlock this one.
There. That should do it.
Talk to Veronica here. She's looking for some new recruits to the army. So we need to go recruiting out of people in the town, and a lot of townspeople we're looking to recruit are going to be people that were part of previous quests. So that is why we need to do a lot of prerequisite quests to unlock this one. But this one is really easy to do and gives you 3 more community members, so it's definitely one that's worth doing. So to get community 3, we just need to talk to the light dude. And that'll get us to 32 people now that we've done all the lantern stuff. And that's going to be the split. But we still got to 48 people, so there's still another 16 members of the community we need before we can actually beat the game here.
Give me a shout next time something happens.
Now we go talk to Isabella, the one of our first community members, the second one actually. And we talked to her about potentially joining the militia. And from there we skip travel to the inn. And we need to do some things here and pick up some stuff.
Let's get a move on then.
From here we see an event scene of Leo trying to confess his love to Sarah, one of the people who live in the town here. From that quest from earlier. And she says if you want to prove your love to me, you need to go get this item from this really dangerous place. And he decides he's going to do that. So nothing can go wrong with that. Talk to Gio about potentially joining the army. He doesn't seem very interested, but we did talk to him because we have to. We get this other quest from this woman who's worried about her husband, doesn't know where he went. And if we rest at the inn here, we can quickly do this, and we will get a quest that tells us to go find Leo because we don't know what happened to him, and we're really worried about him now because we sent him to a very dangerous place. Laura seems really fed up with it right now, you know. We talked to Eurissa. She will join us automatically now that we are Community 4, or Community 3.
Thank you.
And now we are going to skip travel again to the Viridian Gate here.
We're here.
Let's get a move on then.
We're going to talk to our friend Kame again, who we just rescued, ask him about joining the militia. He decides it might not be for him. Then we talk to Arb over here. And Arb has a quest for us as well.
We're such sap.
I don't actually remember the story in Arb's quest, but I think it's about building a boat and helping have an evacuation plan or something.
Why we're here again?
From there, we skip travel back to the gate again and go down this path to talk to some other people about joining the army. Including the, in this little back alley here, the 4 Napan children from earlier. So that was important for this as well. Talk to Jerry on the bench here about the militia. He says you're out of luck. He's not joining. We need to talk to Akin here, who, for info about Arb's quest. He's going to help us. Then we need to go to the rear gate to talk to Clark. I think he's the last person we actually need to talk to for the quest, recruiting quest. And now we can head back to the palace and go talk to Arb again. This is faster than going to Gate if we're just going to talk to him.
Here.
Let's get a move on then.
So we have the 10 muscle branch that we need for this quest. Now we're going to head back to Gormott again, because we have some more things we have to do here now. For Arb's quest, we need to talk to a woman here and ask her to help us.
We're fine.
I forgot her name,
Let's get a move
but I'll see it soon. Yes, Makila. Or Maquilla, something like that. Either one. Tell her that we know Arb and she won't charge us any money to help out. Head to the Lakeshore campsite, and we can talk to a woman here who will just join our community because she's nice like that.
You have our gratitude.
And now we're gonna go find the husband of the woman who is just conveniently fishing in the middle of nowhere here, because that's what husbands do sometimes, right?
Then.
A lot of the community stuff is just remembering what to do in what order, so you don't lose time to that. Like, knowing when to skip travel, knowing, like, how to order the quests, and all that kind of stuff. It's not all that hard to do. So we find the husband, he realizes his wife is angry at him, and he thanks us, and is like,
On us.
goes back, and joins our community at the same time. From there, we can leave Gormat again to go back to the Aletta region. And the militia garrison, now that we have talked to all the people in town, we can turn in that quest and see who all showed up and was willing to join.
Phew, we're finally here.
Let's get a move on then.
And that is going to add 3 members to the community. Veronica herself, the 4 Napon children who count as 1 community member, and someone else who I actually can't remember what their name is, but they joined the community also. Very nice. Oh, I guess we're about to see what his name is.
She asks of me.
Luke. Yeah, okay, Luke.
Whoa. This is awkward.
10 more people required to hit community level 4.
I'm just happy we made someone happy.
From here, we're going to head to the Deny region and head to the Turquoise Plaza, that landmark we got earlier. That's the really pretty one we never actually got to see. And look at this area. Look at how pretty this place is. We swapped to Adam because we had to fight this enemy, but there's a really meme strategy we can do it to it. And that's what we're going to be doing here. We see that Leo's been attacked by this enemy, and he's just on the ground there.
Someone's pleased to see us.
So we gotta fight this enemy now. By running all the way over to this edge, we can lure the Blant enemy over here. I don't quite do it perfectly, but you're able to use Legion Scatter to do blowdown on him, and normally he would fall off right there, but he's just barely on the edge there, right? Because I messed it up just slightly, it looks like, but fortunately I can just charge up another one, use it again, and he'll just drop right off. And the fall damage will take care of the rest, and he will just straight up die. Very funny. After that, it appears that Leo is dead, so he got the item he needed, but he just straight up dies, so he's gonna leave our community. Kinda sad when you think about it, really. Well, maybe, because I was actually just kidding. He's gonna be alive after this. It turns out he was just unconscious and we couldn't tell entirely, so he'll be, once we talk to the Cicera here, he'll come back and reveal himself as alive after, she really was concerned that he died trying to get the item she told him to get. And, everything works out in the end and we get a happy ending.
I am honored.
You have my thanks.
So now we're up to, 40 community members. We just need 8 more people now.
I'm glad it all worked out.
You could probably cut out a lot of time from this run if you didn't have to see the community screen every time or have the long, like, quest turn-in screen. But, you know, it's alright. So we talked to Charlotte. She's going to agree to help us with the quest that Arb gave us earlier about the evacuation boat, I think. So I'm going to go talk to Akin again now that we've got people to help us. And now we're supposed to go to Yanchik Harbor. And everything is prepared to finish that quest, essentially, or nearly finish it, at least.
We're here.
Let's get
By talking to Akin at the harbor, he will join our community along with Makilo, the helmswoman I think we recruited. I think she's a helmswoman anyway. Something like that. And that'll get us to 6 people needed remaining.
Thank you. Thank you.
If you're keeping track of the quest, we just need to turn this into Bri and also turn in the quest to the wife. So that'll put us at 4 people remaining. So how do we get the remaining 4? Well, there's one final quest we're going to have to do and accept after doing all of this.
We're here.
First off, we need to report the quest to Bri, of course. Or Arb, not Bri, sorry. They're both old men that have the same model, basically. Just one has the goggles and the other one doesn't. So Arb joins our community now.
Thank you.
We're going to skip travel back to the inn one more time after this, because we can both turn in the quest to the wife and get our final quest there. I talked to Chica one more time. She's very grateful we found her husband. She had to give him an earful. You know how that works.
Well done, us.
And now, the final quest. We are about to go pick up from Geo over in the corner again. He has another quest for us this time. This quest is going to be about building a shelter in the base of the inn because he believes it's important for safety. He wants to get someone who is very experienced with this kind of stuff to help us, a man named Wayton. But Wayton doesn't really want to play ball, as you will soon find out. Yeah, he doesn't want to help. So how are we going to get him to actually help? Well, we talked to Geo one more time, and we learned that he has a daughter named Lyda. If you remember Lyda, she was one of our first community members. There's a big quest involving her in the region of Gormott, where we have to go find her throughout the continent. And it's one of the coolest quests in the game. But we need to go find Lyda now, and see if she'll help us out.
We're finally here.
Let's get a move on then.
seems.
There's something quite magical about traveling beneath the stars.
And while this ends up being the last quest we do in the speedrun, there are still a lot of other quests in this game, and they all tie in with each other. And it just ends up being a really fun experience in this game to see the community come together in the end.
Right.
So to find Lyda, we finally used the Cooley Lake skip point that we got much earlier in the game. And I also picked up this extra collection spot just in case I was low on deerwood. I was not low on deerwood, but I was just worried I was, so I ended up picking it up anyway, just out of safety. From there, we get on this tree branch over here, and we see Lyda up all the way up here. So we talk to Lyda, tell her about her father, and she agrees to come back and help us.
Suddenly, it all looks so different.
All right. Remind me why we.
So Lyda is going to tell her dad all about how we helped her, and he will agree to help us because of that. From there, we're going to need the puzzle tree wood and deer wood to grab some stuff we need to build this shelter. So we go back to the inn. Skip traveling is a little bit faster than walking, and
All right.
I swapped back to Laura here because we're about to be at the end of the community grinding section. We can talk to Dolala, who is right in the room next to completing this quest, and get another community member, leaving us with only 3 remaining to get.
I am honored.
Then we talk to Wayton at the edge of the inn, and we can build 4 lumber sets, which is all we need. We don't have to worry about the support set or anything like that. We can just do the lumber sets. So Wayton joins our community, and so does Geo finally, after being involved in quite a few quests himself. That puts us at 47, so what about the last person? Well, we gotta go to Gormott one more time. This person, unfortunately, will not join our community until after we do this quest, but it is the final friend, the final community member that we need in this entire speedrun. So we're gonna head back to Gormott one more time. And talk to Minnie, I think it is. Yes, Minnie. Talk to him, he will join the community, and that will put us at 48. And with Community 4, we are finally able to move on with the story and finish out the game. Not too bad, not too bad at all. Let's head to the main gate now. And now it's time to make our preparations for the final battle. Malos is off doing some stuff with the Titan, and we realize this is going to be our final night before we actually head off to the final battle. We're going to go do one final rest at the end to prepare ourselves, and I think it's a little bit faster to walk than skip travel for this one. So we head to the inn, talk to Fred, and then choose rest. And we are going to be ready to head out now. I swap Adam and Laura's placements because it's going to be important for the chain attack a little bit later that we have to do in the final boss. And now we're going to head to the entrance of the desert, because that's going to be the fastest way to get to the place we now need to go, which is the Torna Titan interior. So we need to head inside the Titan itself to get to Malos now, essentially. And by going to the left here, which is the way we have not been before in the desert, we will be able to get to where we need to go. Off to Nature Preserve is the landmark right outside where we need to go. And then if we climb up this series of steps over here, we will find the entrance to the Torna Titan exterior, or interior, sorry. There's a cutscene outside here. We're going to go to the camp to do our last round of crafting, use the last of the materials we need for the rest of the run. Just crafting 2 materials. We need to get a Hollow Charm and the Aegis. These items are going to be pouch items needed for the final battle to make them go faster, essentially.
2, 1, and we're done.
And
So with that done, we do one final rest and level up for the final time to the highest we can go. And
For my friend.
we'll be heading to the final battle now.
All credit to my siblings in arms.
So at this point, I think I'm like 2 or so minutes ahead of the world record, maybe even more, I don't know. So how in the world do I end up choking and losing so much time? Well, Core 1 and Core 2 go fine, you'll see. Those are not where I'm going to lose the time. We're going to get to a very, very interesting part very, very soon. Before that, though, one of the final menus, the second to last menu, this one's the longer one. Need to use the pouch expansion I got a long time ago on Laura, give her the Aegis book, and give Adam the Hollow Charm. And give Hugo the Beyond Lindness Dunes we crafted earlier. We're gonna use these Lodronite chips we picked up from Sequest. This has a high critical hit rate and even higher auto attack than Mithra and Jin have currently. We want to give that to them to increase their power as much as possible now. And then we're gonna modify our Aux scores a little bit. Give Affinity Max Attack 3 to both Mithra and Jin. Give Massive Melee Mithra back to her. And then check all these charts one final time.
more growth.
And then I'm going to level up Smarts on Jin, I believe, just in the interest of increasing their damage ratios before the final fights, like Core 1 and Core 2 here. Which are just some long fights that we have to do.
Tempered by discipline. This power is for you.
That's going to cover that menu. So now we just maybe make our way through the Torna interior. There, it's not too hard to navigate, but there are some basically gates that block our progress, and we have to do these fights against these cores to unlock these locations, and that's what Core 1 and Core 2 refer to.
We made it. Good.
And I'll explain a little bit more about that when we get to that. Alright, so here's Core 1. We just activate the thing, and then we have to fight all these Parasax enemies. The first core is not too bad at all. It's just a bunch of these little small enemies that you're basically guaranteed to break, and are pretty easy enemies overall. Just keep swatching between Laura and Jin as much as possible. Make sure you're doing your driver combos so you can get the potions needed to heal, since you don't want to use haze. And then try to be smart about how you select your specials and stuff like that, and you should be good to go. The more you swap between Jin and Laura, the more damage you build up with them as well, so that's why you want to keep swapping as much as you can for that. So they'll keep spawning in. There's 3 rounds here. Two of them, then 3 of them, and then 5 of them. The 5th phase you can die on if you're not careful, but it's usually not something you have to worry about very actively, thankfully. And once you get your damage stacked up a lot, they go down pretty quickly anyway. Like right here, I'm just able to kind of rampage through these enemies at this point. So here comes the round of 5. We're not too worried about it, because we can just break the enemy top, we'll get these potions, so we don't get ganged up on, and we have plenty of health to just do this fight now. I use Jin's level 3 here, which is his most powerful special, to do a bunch of damage to these enemies. So, we finish off the last enemy here, and that's going to be the end of... Oh, there's one more enemy, sorry. That's going to be the end of Core 1, though. And we saved some time there, because that was a pretty good fight. My special usage was pretty good, my AoE was good. My targeting was good and everything like that. So I played that fight pretty optimally for sure. Core 2 is a bit harder. We got some other enemies we're going to have to deal with that are a big pain. You'll notice the split after Core 2 was called Run Ender, and as you can guess, that's going to be the split I lose a lot of... I basically lose world record on that split. Because I am not good at platforming. I play RPG speedruns to not have to platform. Let's make that simple. First things first, though. To get to Core 2, we gotta go all the way around this little section here. I'm probably getting nervous at this point, especially because I know what's coming after this fight. I know I was really nervous when I got to the next split, and I think that also affected me and just mentally got to me. But it happens. It happens, especially when you're on a really good pace. So here's the Core 2 fight. The first phase is no different than the last one. It's just 2 of these little small enemies, so really easy there. I'm not going to use Laura's talent art, though, because I want to be safer in this phase. So I'll just charge up arts the normal way. General Phase 1 strategy here is going to be the same as the previous Phase 1 strategy, basically. Not too difficult to execute at all. Phase 2 is when they're going to add a new enemy to the mix. There's going to be 3 of the little small enemies plus this big enemy here, which has more health. I'm not going to focus on it just yet, because I want to be able to use all 3 of my blade combos on it, so I can burst it down as fast as possible. And before that, I want to just get rid of a couple of these so we're not taking too much damage while focusing the big one down. So that's, as you might expect here. I used Jin's level 2 on this enemy, swap back to Laura. And then, I'm running low on health here, so I need to be very careful. Luckily, I do the break there specifically for that reason. I get a topple and a launch, so Laura's health gets back up with the health potions that spawn from doing those. And now with the final, this enemy here, we can just use blade combos on it to kill it as fast as possible. I used Jin's level 2 purposely here. Actually, I used his level 3, but I used it before Ultimate Aurora just because Ultimate Aurora would actually be slow to get to that long animation. And I can kill him faster just by using level 3 without waiting for the flame burst to finish. Final phase has 2 of these little small enemies and then 2 of the large enemies, so we need to be careful about that. I'm going to try to burst down one of the large enemies now, after doing a bunch of damage to the small enemy. And, the ideal situation here is to get a break like this, essentially, and then, kill it. I accidentally swapped to Haze, it looks like, as well. That was probably a mistake trying to get the targeting. So I swapped to Haze here, then back to Jin, just to, keep myself alive. And then I use, Jin's Ice 3 to kill this first Parasax here. I lose a little bit of time from the swap, because I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to kill the final small enemy now, and then, focus on the final large enemy after that. We are getting a little low on health, which is a little scary. But, not a big worry now, there's only one enemy left. I'm gonna use level 3 combos again. I'm gonna break the enemy and use Heat 3 with Laura here and hopefully kill him with this, which should be successful given how much health he has remaining. And that's gonna end that phase. I do lose a little bit of time over my Sum of S there, but that's not too bad. I still feel like that fight went pretty well, especially since I accidentally swapped to Haze at one point. But overall, pretty good. I get a little lost temporarily, but I figure out where to go now. So what does this run into split? Well, normally we'd have to fight 2 more core fights, which are even longer than the last 2, to go through this place. But there is a gate coming up, the blue gate, that we can actually do some very precise platforming that allows us to skip the next 2 fights. And unfortunately, when I say very precise, I mean very precise. I swapped to Haze here because I'm more comfortable doing it with her than with Laura. They have this like the same model and everything, but for some reason placebo effect, stuff like that, so I just like using Haze here. There have been a lot of runs I have spent way too long doing this, even longer than I do in this run, but it's a difficult jump, and especially when you add nerves to it like I was having here, it was just something that I was not able to execute like I wanted to. So essentially, you have this gate right here. You see that little thing jutting out on the edge of this gate? You can actually land on that. By jumping up here, you can, I'm failing this right now, miserably it looks like. You can jump up there, and if you do a very precise jump, you can land on the little edge right there, and that will allow you to get past this gate. This jump is very difficult. It may not look as difficult as you will see here, but and I don't even jump that time. I fail it completely. Looks like the jump did not come out or something like that. Like I said, I think nerves just affected me pretty badly here. If I was able to get this first try, I actually would have been ahead of my Sum of S, but that just goes to show I'm not very good at this at all. Even the best players, like, being good at it means getting it, like, within 5 attempts, which is still not that great for a trick like this, but if you fail the jump, you can at least die down here, which allows you to respawn right next to it and get another attempt in. But I think I spent over 4 minutes on this, and that's how I end up losing the world record, because I'm just not good at this at all. And it's really unfortunate. And I'm getting frustrated because it didn't let me jump that time either for some reason. I think I just pressed the button too late. I think I'm just really nervous and like choking here. It happens, really.
I don't even know what to say to that.
You have to basically like tilt the camera and jump at a very precise angle and spot. And I'm just not able to do it right now. So yeah, the enemy of me is always very precise tricks that have nothing to do with the actual RPG gameplay, because this is how I lost a bunch of time in one of my former Xenoblade 2 world records on on a clip in that game. Basically, I don't like stuff like this. I prefer just standard RPG gameplay, but sometimes there are tricks that save time that you have to do, but this is definitely why I do not speedrun platformers or any execution-based games, and I just speedrun RPGs that do not require that much execution and just require knowledge more than anything. You can see in the corner I'm frustrated at this point because I'm literally losing world record at this rate if I can't get it very soon. But like I said, unfortunately, just not too good at this. World record gets this on the second try. He is much better at it than I am, sadly, but it is what it is. I haven't been running this long, so maybe if I practice it more, I'll be more consistent at it, but it's still a trick that it just feels really hard to get down, like, perfectly. And even the night before this, I was able to do it pretty consistently, and if I would have done it as well as I was doing the night before this, I would have been fine, but I think nerves just got to me more than anything.
That was...
And at this point, I'm now behind the record, because I failed it too much. Or I think I'm behind the record. If I wasn't, I'm very close to behind the record if I wasn't right then.
Careful now, team.
That's what happens when you stop paying attention.
And then I just run off there. I'm getting frustrated because just nerves and everything else. It happens. It happens.
We're here.
Let's get a move on then.
And now instead of frustration, there's just sadness.
Titan's foot. I almost had a heart.
I do think I get it pretty soon at this point. I think I get it before 4 minutes behind at least, but unfortunate. Just unfortunate.
Careful now, team.
That's what happens when you stop paying attention.
I have been practicing even more lately, so hopefully the next time I get a good pace this far, I'll be able to actually execute it and hopefully get world record in this category in game. And that's something I definitely like to do because I do like this game a lot.
That was...
Let's take it one step at a time.
I think this might be the one I get it. Maybe. Yes, that's the one I finally get it. That jump is a lot more precise than it might look, just trust me on that. It is something I struggle with a lot. So after that, I swap back to Laura and Jin, and then swap to Adam after that, because we want to control Adam for the final fights here. And we're going to be doing our final menu in just a second.
This is new.
So remember those crystal earrings we picked up a long time ago? We want to put those on Adam now. That'll increase our party gauge every time we get an excellent on a special. And we also want to get a couple more skills to...
More to add to my repertoire. Excellent. Work hard enough. And
just to make our life a little easier in the coming fights ahead. Laura, we get increased break chance. That'll help a lot in the upcoming fights. On Hugo, we get extra special gauge gain on Excellent, which actually affects the entire party as well, so that's useful. And now we're good to go. So this is basically like a two-phaser boss fight here, where we do one phase against Malus and then another phase against Malus. Except we gotta go through his full health bar both times this time. Phase 2 Malus has way less HP. Because the final phase against him, which is basically the final boss fight, is an interesting fight with an interesting gimmick in it. So this strategy basically is just get a break and then do the same thing we did against the Gargoyles earlier, and you can kill Malus pretty quickly. If you cannot get a break, this fight will be much slower, but you can target the add-ons first. Because Malus will probably use armor on himself otherwise, and you'll be just wasting a bunch of time targeting him. Unfortunately, that Ultimate Roar did not do as much damage as I thought it was going to. But I still have a fusion combo going, so I'm able to Just do a lot of damage to him before that expires. I have not seen Ultimate Aurora do that little damage in a while. I must have gotten really bad crit RNG or something, but doesn't end up mattering too much, thankfully. Still able to kill him relatively quickly after that, and start focusing on the Colossuses. Looks like I accidentally swapped to Minoth. I did not mean to swap to Minoth, but all that really matters is just getting the Volt off. And Brigid will be able to apply the Flame Bolt, and then Jin, of course, will do the level 3 when we get that out. Of course, that doesn't end up happening because of the launch, but the party-wide launch was there. Now, these things end up wasting a bunch of my time and costing me time, sadly. Because I think, even though Malos went well, these things were kind of a pain. Didn't get the fusion combo look I really wanted on them either. But overall, it's not terrible. We are able to take out the first one pretty quickly here after the combo. And then I'm able to use a strong Bolt while against him while he's this one while he's electric weak still. I go ahead and use Jin's Ice 2 here, and it doesn't do nearly as much as I thought it was going to do. So I probably should have waited for him to do Ice 3 if nothing else, or Ultimate Aurora, but I use Mithra's level 3 here, trying to just finish this thing off as fast as possible. And yeah, it ends up working, but I probably could have done this phase a little better, at least, as far as the Colossuses are concerned. Malos himself was pretty good, though. So now, the second phase of this. We have a unique mechanic, a new gimmick. The Siren meter replaces our party meter. And we had to do 4 attacks with this meter before we're allowed to actually chain attack Malos. And Malos has 8 million HP in this fight, which is a huge amount. We're going to have to do a massive chain attack on him after this is over anyway. We also need to set up all 8 blade combos on him to get all 8 orbs on him for this massive chain attack if we want to kill him. So we're going to be focusing on that during this fight. But the other thing we're going to be doing during this fight is spamming Mithra's level 1 special a lot, because getting an excellent on a special, of course, gives us party meter. And Mithra also has critical recharge that allows us to spam her special more than anyone else's special. So all around, this is just going to be the most useful. And it also helps that Malos is weak to light elements, so it's actually been pretty beneficial to control Mithra anyway in this fight. So basically, Mithra carries the fight pretty hard. I swapped to Minoth here because I do need to get Dark off, so this is probably the most convenient time to do it during the early phases of the fight before it becomes really dangerous. I get Stone off here, that's going to give you our 5th element. What we are looking for now is water, wind, and light. I use Haze here to get wind, so we just need water and light. Aegeon's water, Mithra's light, of course, so Mithra will be very easy to apply. I swapped to Mithra. I use Aegeon's Aqua, but I don't actually apply Mithra's Photon yet because I'm busy spamming level 1 specials. Unfortunately, I'm in the middle of using a special when he uses Eater, so my Blade Affinity goes down, which is going to slow down the fight a little bit here. Because I'm going to have to build up my Affinity again to get my special gauge faster. But you can see how this fight goes. It's basically about building party meter up as fast as possible while you are basically trying to get all the elements on him as well. That's just how this fight goes. Once the Aqua expires, I'll be able to get Mithra's level 1 off on him, and that'll be the final element I need. Never mind, I used Volt. So I guess I saved the Mithra's level 1 for later still. Or I might just use Photon 2 here, just to make sure I get it off. No, I don't even do that. I use Flame Bolt. I'm probably just finishing the combo here, maybe. Just because it'll help get party meter, and then I'll use Mithra's level 1. I think that's what I end up doing. So I normally have not had great Malos 3 fights here, but I'm gonna get a pretty huge gold in this split because I actually finally get what I need once all the setup wears off. Basically, once you do get your access to your actual chain attack, you want to try to set up a fusion combo which requires a break. But a lot of stupid things can happen which prevent that, and you can lose a lot of time if you're unlucky, essentially. like minutes worth. So I finally get Photon off, and I'm about to do the last Siren attack too, I believe. Malice activates armor here, but it doesn't matter because we're not ready to chain attack yet anyway. And final Siren attack, this will allow us to actually chain attack him normally. It's a cool gimmick for this fight. Every time you Siren attack, Malice also takes additional damage from you, so you do more damage to him. So now I'm just trying to charge up my party meter normally to prepare for the chain attack I want to get, which is going to require setting up a fusion combo, which is another reason we want to control this team, because Adam can extend driver combo durations. And we'll be able to set up that big fusion by double stacking it with Adam's level 4 and everything. I've got full party meter now, so I'm going to just get Adam's level 4 up, so we're ready to go with that. And then we just gotta wait for a break at this point. And as long as he doesn't use something like Eater or Armor, we'll be good to go. He resisted a break, of course, because that always happens when he gets to this phase. I swear he'll just start resisting a bunch, so you can never actually get that fusion combo you need. If you're wondering why I need fusion combos, every time you get a fusion combo stack on the same driver combo, your damage increases, so that's why we're looking for that. I'm able to run out of that Eater, so Adam can still use his level 4. That was really important to do. We get the break. And I want to use Team Hugo for this, the first special here, because I do not want Hugo to come out to topple, so I want to make sure that he's stuck during this for a little bit, so I can and then use level 4, and then with this 2 specials on this break here, we're going to chain attack, and from here we're just going to go for that full burst, and that should end the fight if we do it correctly. Make sure you use both Laura and Bridget first round so you get the guaranteed break on the water orb. That is very important to do. I probably should not have used Mithra in the chain attack this early, but doesn't really matter a ton. Haze comes in, does damage to the ice orb. We use Bridget again to break a second orb. He ends up breaking the Dark Orb. I wish he wouldn't have done that, but oh well. Adam comes in to break the Electric Orb now. I would have used Mithra to break the Dark Orb. Bridget didn't choose that one. Jen comes in now to do some damage to the Wind Orb. And then Bridget's going to break another orb here, so we only need one more orb to be broken next round to get the full burst. Unfortunately, it's the Wind Orb. If it was the Ice Orb, we'd guarantee have Jin on the full burst. But I think Mithra gets the full burst here, which is just as good. No, she doesn't. Never mind. So I use Jin. And he targets the right orb. Okay, we get the full burst with him. Either Mithra or Jin works for the full burst here. If you do the chain attack order a little bit better, you can always guarantee it's either Mithra or Jin. But I slightly messed up by using Mithra too early. But that's okay. Not a big deal. Works either way. Malos dies. You can use, and that'll be the end of the fight. Big gold here. And yeah, that helps a lot. Just for getting a nice PV anyway. Still running against my sum of best, and I'm only 10 seconds behind that. But that's mostly because I have really bad gate skips and really bad Malos 3s, which just ruin everything half the time. Plus, I haven't done too many runs of the game yet, so this was really my first really good attempt that I felt really proud of for the most part, outside of the gate skip, which cost me world record, of course. But we will get it soon. We'll get it soon. So the game's not technically over yet, because we have to do this weird extra fight at the end against Gort again, who's been modified, and it's kind of weird, but basically we got to do this fight, and this fight will end the run afterwards. You cannot actually lose in this fight. Even if you end up dying with Laura, she'll just revive herself, and you continue the fight as normal. So basically, you're just trying to do the fight as fast as possible at this point. You only have Team Laura at this point, so it's supposed to be like a symbolic type of fight. But it's technically part of the run still, because the game's technically not over until you beat it. Definitely not as climactic as the Malos fight or anything like that, but it does exist and we have to do it. This is a pretty easy fight overall. You can just kind of make sure you're doing fusion combos with Laura's breaks and stuff, and Jin's topples, and it's not too hard at all. Like, freeze here on the topple here should do pretty significant damage. The damage over time will start ticking on him from the freeze now, which will do a lot. And then we should be able to just do a level 3 fire with Laura on a break, and that should end it. So I use Laura's level 3 on this break here. And this will end the run. Not too bad at all. And that is going to end the Torna the Golden Country speedrun glitchless. Now, if you do it with glitches, you can go past the blue gate entirely by using the zombie jump glitch, but as I said earlier, that hurts my hands too badly to do, and I just don't like that category because it just kills my hands. So I'd rather do glitchless and just hopefully get the jump anyway. Plus, I do think it is a bit more interesting with a lot of the fight strategies in this because it's not nearly as easy since you don't have really broken stuff right off the bat. But that covers the Torna speedrun, like I said, and I don't want this video to drag on too long at this point since we are done with the speedrun in its entirety now. Pretty solid run overall, just one really glaring bad spot with the gate skip, but I'm happy with it. I think it makes for a good commentary video. Hopefully it explained the run well to you if you're watching this and made it this far. And maybe you'll be interested in speedruns of this game in the future as well. And yeah, I guess that's going to cover it for this video. I hope you enjoyed watching everyone, learned something. And if you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe, like the video, comment, all that good stuff. And look forward to more of my content in the future. And hopefully we'll get World Record pretty soon here, and I'll be able to upload that as well. Thank you guys for watching, and have a wonderful and blessed day.